On top of the morning. All right, I ain't gonna skip nothing. I'm just gonna go right into it. I'm just gonna go right into it. So, first of all, this don't even require me to be on camera. I made it a thing not to be on camera when I'm talking about situations like this because I want the focus to be on the conversation, not on my face and expressions and being animated, etc., etc. Right? So I come across and I'm listening to my man Perry. Now, many of y'all don't know Perry is the house husband. He's the house husband of Shirelle. Okay. I want to commend this man and tell him thank you for your service, sir. He was a military man. I'm not sure what branch, what rank, whether he had an honorable discharge or whatever. But one thing I know how to spot a house husband. And I told y'all this before. Perry, a house husband. Now, the other day, when Sharrell decided to talk about Jaguar Wright, she tried to be very nice and cordial about it and everything like that. And I told you guys right there at that moment, I said, listen here, she was trying to undermine and diss her. You understand what I'm saying? That it was no escaping that. You understand what I'm saying? And Sharrell, you know as well as I know, one on one, Jaguar gonna take you. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't about, I don't care how much you talk, I don't care how much you try to act like you a gangster online. You know, one on one, Jaguar will take you. You understand? Same thing goes for you, Perry, and your little frail ass. See, Perry was talking real tough. Now, this is on Perry's channel. You understand? Perry got his own channel. I think you go rename it The Real House Husbands of Vegas. I've never seen a man this weak in my life. Listen, guys, let me tell you something. A man will act accordingly when that money there. You understand what I'm saying? I know y'all see this a lot with women. Well, women will act accordingly when that money there, but there's some men out there that will act accordingly when that money there too. Perry's one of these guys. Oh yeah, Perry's one of these guys. So if you wouldn't have went live, Perry, actually and honestly and truthfully, I wouldn't even be able to have this conversation right now. But you chose to go live and pick up the slack where your wife didn't. So let me tell you, and the link is right here in the description box, guys. So you can go down and check it out. It's about an hour long. You understand? You can watch the whole nursing home. Homie got the whole nursing home as viewers. You know that little elderly house at 55 and up? Everybody on his podcast was 55 and up. Ain't no ifs, ands about it. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't one person in that room that was under 45, 40. Fuck it. It wasn't one person in there that was under 50. Everybody hit it. Even a young 51, 52, 53, I can live with. But if you 55 and over, and this is your topic of conversations, oh, man, you need to really take a look. Now, let me tell y'all about Shirelle. Shirelle, and let me tell you where I'm coming from when I say this. Shirelle is worth roughly around about 4.2 to $5 million. Okay, the bulk of a lot of this money is coming in increments of about 20K a month, which she's receiving off of her YouTube revenue. Not to mention other revenue that she'll probably be seeing, merchandise, appearances possibly, blah 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 blah. But roughly, she's worth about anywhere between 4.2 to $5 million, give or take. I don't know Vegas's taxes or Las Vegas, excuse me, Nevada's tax system, so I really can't say. But I think last time I checked, it's somewhere around about 34% of your annual income take in for the year. So that would leave her, if she was, let's say, for the first $100,000, that would leave her roughly, I don't know, somewhere around about $72,000 to $73,000 per $100,000 of that. I understand. So y'all do the math y'all want to. So I'm sitting there and I'm already evaluating yesterday without even knowing that. Without even knowing what revenue she's taking in, how much she's bringing in a month or whatever. And mind you, she's making all this money from gossiping and talking about people. All right. I want y'all to keep that in parentheses right there. That she gets her money by talking about people, like most other vloggers do, most other correspondents do, most people on the news do. She makes her money by talking about people. Okay, fine, that's cool. That's cool. The problem I have is every time that you're talking about somebody, you veer off the seg and go into a segue where you start getting devastating and getting judgmental and giving your own measurements based on what you appear in life and what you think is right, what you think is clear, what you think is cool. So here come old Perry. The other day when y'all saw her do her live about Jaguar, here come old Perry. And like I said, it's in the description box. I can go right down below and look at it. Because something told me in the back of my mind. I said, I know how a house husband operates. See, house husbands operate like this. Oh, my wife making the money. Let me go over here and start my own page too. 750. That's how all these people on this podcast sounded like. Y'all remember in that movie? What was that movie? Ice Cube and Mike Epps was in Miami. All about the Benjamins. How am I gonna forget about that? I'm bad boy. Uh, it was a scene in there. He said 750. 750. Everybody on that podcast sounded like that. He was a bunch of elderly people sitting up here talking about, listen, ain't nobody on that podcast lifted or weight or done a push-up in years. I swear to God. So Perry starts his conversation. He says he wants to now prove this is how house husbands do. He wants to prove now that he's a man. This is a typical house husband. So house husband Perry turned around. He said, I ain't my wife. Let me tell you, look, hold on, let me imitate his voice. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not my wife. And I'm not gonna have this. That long ass lisp, Perry. So then he brought one of his boys on there that actually sounded like a man. Maybe been somebody that, that was along with him in service or whatever. And I'm never going to take that away from Perry. Perry, thank you for your service, sir, or whatever. But you can get joked because I see right through you. I've met men like you many of times. See, I worked for millionaires for 17 years. And unlike Perry and his wife, I was actually in the music industry. You understand what I'm saying? I still maintain friends in the music industry. And I know a lot of people, some of the people that you wouldn't even think I know. And trust me, Perry, all those people that I'm mentioning, they worth way more than your wife for $5 million. I know some rappers that are 2021, and that's what they give them for their advancement, $5 million. So kudos to you if you think you got something on people, but you at the lowest end of the tier of millionaires that could possibly be. Wake up. You understand? So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Perry, and Perry's whole diatribe throughout the whole podcast is slamming Jag and claiming he's saying everything that his wife wouldn't say. Well, why wouldn't your wife say? Your wife a woman? Huh? Why wouldn't your wife say? Because your punk ass wife know as well as I do, Jaguar will stomp a mole hole in her ass. That's the reality of it. Let's keep it official, keep it 100, since you won't keep it so 100. All right, let's keep it 100, Perry. Then in the video, you claim, well, you better be a good shot if you come after me. And I guess this was in reference to Goomba. Goomba will beat the living life fuck out of you, and you know it. Perry, you ain't been in a fight in years, if you have been in a fight ever. All right. You ain't been in a fight in years. And if I had to make a guess based by your disposition, you were probably some type of, I don't want to say ranger or something like that or whatever, but everything is pointing to me that you were either Marines or possibly Army. I don't think you were in a commanding position, though. I might be wrong, but I don't think you were in a commanding position. You don't seem like the type they will put in a commander's position. But if you were, 9 times out of 10, you know how to shoot. Okay, I'll give you that. You know how to shoot. You understand what I'm saying? You're Army trained. Don't mean you're going to make your target every time. You understand? That was the biggest mistake you ever made. Never go on and be like, you bet not miss. Don't ever challenge nobody to miss, Perry. You never do that. Because then they're going to make sure they go out of the way to make sure they hit you. You understand? That's where you made your first mistake, Perry. Let's see who's chopping in here. Can you stop laughing and just talk? No, but I can get you the fuck out of here, bitch. We can do that. Let's get this bitch up out of here. Mary Camara. Can I talk the way she want me to talk? Bitch, you ain't never donated to this channel. Fuck you. Anyway, See, this is what they do. They come in with fake profiles and shit because they mad about what Perry. I talk how the fuck I want to talk, bitch. And good luck to you. You ain't got no profile picture. You ain't got none of that. You over here telling people what to do and how to talk. See, this is how they run the show over there with them. You ain't gonna bring your bunk ass over here and tell me how to run the show. You don't donate a dime to here. And for those who would like to donate, it's $ STRINGERBELL 80 stringer bell 80 at Cash App. There's also a PayPal link in the description box, and also a GoFundMe link if you want to donate anything like that. Support this channel like I support Sharrell and everybody else. Oh Perry. So let me tell you, continue all about Perry. I like to laugh. I'm a comedian. I've been through hell. Of course, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh at this joke of a man, this house husband. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna say what the fuck I want to say. Don't come over here trying to dictate nothing. You understand? It ain't happening. You got the wrong person. You must think I'm Perry. Perry go for that shit. I don't. So anyway, Perry continues his diatribe and he's talking about Jaguar and he brings his boy on Roy. Oh, Roy. Hey, Roy. How you doing, Roy? Are you following me? All these people already got old school names. Perry, Roy. There was some other chick on there, and I swear to God, she sounded like, and I'm not making fun of her or nothing, she sounded like she was on oxygen. You know how old people sound, like elderly people sound? Everybody on this podcast was elderly. And they were talking the most gangster. You just have to hear these people. Like I said, the link is right in the description box, so you guys can check it out for yourself. But they were all sitting there acting like they were advocating. They were on the side of Perry, or amongst his 33,000 followers compared to her 440 something thousand followers. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, Perry got about 33,000 followers. She got 440,000 followers. When Perry's on her show, he barely talks. It was barely allowed to talk because he's a house husband. But when he's on his show, he got all the smoke. This was why I had a problem with him at. Because your punk ass didn't say anything when you over there on her show. And she told you to shut the fuck up and don't talk about it. And you did just that, house husband. But when you were on your show, you wanted to let all fire out. You understand what I'm saying? Now, he went on a diatribe and tried to make fun of him. You know, the usual contentious and ghetto motherfuckers do. Because that's what Perry's from. Make no mistake about it. Perry might be living nice amongst what his wife has provided. You thought I missed that, huh, you pussy motherfucker? You're living nice off what your wife provided. That ain't your crib. That's your wife's crib, you bitch. You understand? Let's put shit in perspective. Don't nobody that gets out the military, they're not able to buy a $5 million home. You understand what I'm saying? And if you do have a $5 million home, you put a hell of a deposit down on that bitch. And I don't think that's a $5 million home. I know how those homes go out there in Arizona and Tempe and Mesa, whatever. I've been out there before. I've been out to Vegas before. My man's got a timeshare that he hits almost every other 2-3 weeks out there. Shout out to Uptown Sharrell. So don't give me no bullshit about fucking, we done been out there partied and did it way differently than you did with Puff out there. So don't give me that bullshit. I don't know nothing about Arizona. I remember when they first put those trolley carts right there. What was that? 2011, 2012, them green up trolley cars they put down there. I think it was in Tempe, downtown Tempe or whatever. We went to the British Airways place right there, whatever at the time for the All-Star game. We were out there. And I think we went out there maybe once or twice or whatever. Shout out to Diamondbacks out there, all that. You know, I know Erie. I know Vegas too, a little chum. So, but not as well as I know Erie. And so his whole thing was he started out saying, well, Jaguar didn't meet us in Vegas or whatever. First of all, if you don't know anything about demographics, let me tell you about this. This is regional demographics, all right? And we know this for a fact. To get from Tempe to Mesa, Arizona, right? And out there in Tempe and Mesa, there's the freaking, what is it called? UPS, FedEx, all of them. This is a huge place. So they got their own airport hangars and shit like that, right? It takes you about anywhere between 4 and 4.5 hours to get from Tempe and Mesa, Arizona to LA. Vegas is between Arizona and California. All right. So if you're going Nevada, rather, the state, if you're going to Vegas, right? It's going to probably take you from Mesa and Tempe. It'll probably take you anywhere around about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. So this is a short trip. If you were to leave out of Sky Harbor Airport in Arizona, which I done flown in before, if you were to leave out of, and my comrades too, if you were to fly out of Sky Harbor Airport right there in Arizona, it's going to take you anywhere between under an hour to 45 minutes. All right. So this is a short trip. This ain't no long trip to go from, hey, good morning, Miss Tip. This ain't no long trip to go from fucking Arizona to Vegas. Like she was talking, like he was Perry was talking like y'all were in Northern California, and she was coming from Texas. That would have made sense. I would have been like, oh, okay, or whatever, whatever. The other thing he wanted to drive on, he was talking about the car catching on fire. How come there wasn't no video of that? We need proof of that. Y'all gotta watch these people that sit online all day and they talk about, well, we need proof, we need this, we need that. Cause see, everything Perry was sitting up there trying to preach that he was the antithesis of fucking purity. The point is, reality, bitch, you a house husband. And you was doing what a good bitch do. I keep trying to tell y'all Perry's a good bitch. And I do believe that's your fucking roommate. Because it don't seem like to me, and I'm just saying me personally, ain't nothing in the mix that make me believe that you two are a couple for real. Like I said yesterday, I think y'all doing what y'all doing for tax purposes, for mortgage purposes. You get a lot better interest rates when you come in as a couple and you sign in on a deed for a mortgage. It's a whole bunch of things. You get a whole bunch of tax breaks when you're listed as a couple. They know this because you're getting in revenue of almost 20K to 15K a month from your YouTube channel, Sharrell. Shirelle, I got better, way better reference points than you do. Your reference points are Google. You understand what I'm saying? My reference points are this. Finding out about. I got people all across the country. You understand that? I was in the entertainment industry. I have friends in this state, that state, this state, that state, this state that I've known for decades. You understand what I'm saying? If I wanted you, I could get you. That's all I'm saying to you. And I'm not saying I want you. But I'm talking to pussy ass Perry, the house husband. Pussy ass Perry then went on this other tribe and he was talking about how it seemed like to me he was trying to challenge Goomba. Homie, have you ever seen this man in person? Have you seen how tall this man is? Have you seen how, first of all, he got about 10 years younger than you. So already your oxygen levels is out because Perry, nothing about you says work out ever. It don't look like Perry that worked out in the past 15, 20 years. How do I know? Because certain men, even when they reach, see, let me tell y'all something real quick. If you don't start working out by the time you hit 30 or 35 years old, right? Something starts to take effect. And what happens that starts to take effect is your muscles don't contract the same way they once did. And they start to become a sort of kind of fatigued. That fatigue turns into your muscles tightening, but not tightening the way that you would want them to, as like, when you're balling up a fist and you show your veins and stuff like that, or you're trying to flex your muscle or whatever the case may be. No, what happens is that muscle is soon replaced or sometimes ripped and replaced with fat deposits. You understand? Which in turn make your skin seem like a certain type of I don't know, kind of layer or whatever, whatever. It's a look to it. It's almost looks like leather, almost to a certain extent. So when you haven't worked out and you don't have a consistent workout regimen or whatever, your body will reflect that in its appearance. So when I look at somebody, even when because sometimes you could be fooled, and sometimes it's just a person may be strong as an ox and they just don't work out. There's some people that are like that and they have the same attributes. But with Perry, I can look at Perry and tell Perry ain't worked out in not one gym in the last 15 to 20 years. You can tell by his build. You can tell by the way he stands. His stance is like an elderly man. Now, I'm not saying, Perry, you can't fight, but you ain't whooping Goomba. He'll mop the floor with you. And you know that, and I know that. That's why the first thing you referenced was shooting. You ain't reference fighting, you reference shooting. Now, you'll say to me, well, don't you do the same thing? Yeah, but the thing is, I'll fight you. And I'm known for it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the difference, Perry. Perry, when I was in the joint, I was fighting. I said it on my own man's because he hit one of my chicks. And you ain't got no gun in there. You understand what I'm saying? So let's not make no mistakes here, Perry. You not no killer. You understand what I'm saying? You a killer on the field when in duty. But out here, you not willing to risk everything and leave Shirelle. Listen, homie, you get locked up, they going in on Shirelle. Trust me when I tell you, homie. Listen, if I ever gave you any advice, don't get locked up and go to jail because she for the streets after that. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody moving up in there. They gonna become the new house husband while you doing the rest of your bed. What's going on, OG Patrice? Nothing sitting here talking about old pussy ass house husband Perry. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, pussy ass house husband Perry. Perry decided to do his own live. You can find that right there in the description box, OG Patrice. And he went on live right after Sharrell, the leader, had gotten off her live after she had professed that she was going to be nice and it was all about trying to get Jaguar Wright in the middle state. And she was worried. I told you I don't believe that shit. I don't know why the fuck. This used to happen to me up at the office of a bad boy. People wouldn't listen to me. And then weeks later, they would find the fuck out. Oh, he was right. Yeah, right. I'm good at this shit. I don't know how I got this gift, but I'm just good at it. I'm able to call these people out for who they are, not who you want them to be. So punk ass Perry decided to go on a whole diatribe. And the reason I'm calling him punk ass Perry is because, homie, you're sitting there and you're chastising this woman and talking about this woman, but wasn't it you and your punk ass wife that was sitting up there for weeks? Yeah, Jag, we believe you. Yeah, Jag. Yeah, Jag, we support you. Yeah, Jag. Yeah, Jag. You real quick to call people friends. You understand what I'm saying? So you were supporting Jag, and it was all good a lot of the time when y'all was getting views and it was attributed to your channel and attributed to that 20K a month that you get, right, Sharrell? That's why people sue you, because they find out you make 20K a month on YouTube. Well, roughly that. You make somewhere between 16 to 20K a month, sometimes a little bit more than that. But that's how much you make. When they find out how much your net worth is, which is $5 million, give or take, depending on what state you're in, at 100K, each 100K, they take anywhere from 32 to 34%, which leaves you with around about 72 to 73%, roughly. Understand, for the state of Nevada. So you're really worth around about 3.1, 3.2, somewhere right there. But they'll list it as 5, respectfully, before taxes. Now, Perry, I looked up your net worth, and I ain't even gonna embarrass you, homie, but it ain't in the millions. Let's just say that. You's a good bitch. I would sit back too, homie. I would sit back too. Perry, a good bitch. You understand what I'm saying? But make no mistake about it. I know these house husbands when I see them. You understand what I'm saying? I done been through enough people and met enough people and met enough women that had house husbands or broke up with house husbands or whatever, whatever. So on this little channel that Perry got with 33,000 people, he had a whole bunch of elderly motherfuckers come up after that. Now, I'm not making fun of nobody over 50, 55, whatever, whatever, whatever. But usually after at about 55, heading into 60, you start getting into your golden years. You understand what I'm saying? You start getting into your golden years where you like, well, you know what? I ain't gonna do this no more. I ain't gonna be online gossiping about people, whatever, whatever, whatever. So on one token, you want to sit there and chastise Jaguar and Goomba for gossiping, but bitch, your whole channel is revolved around gossiping. You make your money from gossiping. You've been sued 3, 4 times now for gossiping and making up lies specifically. Now you sitting up here and you and your house husband is pretending like y'all the antithesis of fucking like morality now. I don't get it. I don't get it. And this is why I say their whole reign is like Chuck. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm predicting that as time flows on, people are going to start seeing how much of a fraud and how much of a hypocrite Sharrell and Perry actually are. Y'all are sitting up there talking about somebody lying when you've been sued 3 times for allegedly lying. Diane Jenkins, the Yates, and I forgot what the other girl's name is. Amber Yates was the other one. Her and her husband sued you. So I'm not quite honestly here. I'm starting to look at the point of these sound like 2 fucking hypocrites that are trying to save face. So you're trying to bash her amongst your crowd to make yourself look like somebody, but you're guilty of the same thing. We all guilty of the same shit. We all get up here and gossip. I'm gossiping right now. But it's how malicious you are doing the gossiping. Now I listened to Perry's punk ass for probably like 50 minutes, and I just got tired of it because I got tired of this one old elderly lady who swore she was funny. This is how she sound. Hey, baby. I was like, why is your old ass up here on the fucking part? Who taught you how to use the internet? This woman had to be every bit of 65, 66 years old. And you on there gossiping with the Harold house husband of Vegas, Perry. Perry's a punk. All right. Ain't no mistake about it. Perry ain't gonna meet you in no parking lot and fight you one on one. And Perry needs help. That's obvious. That's why he had Roy on there. Hey Roy. Roy, is you the muscle Roy? Yeah, I'm gonna leave Roy alone. Roy probably skeet shoot or some shit like that. You gonna have to lay Roy down. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You can't fight Roy. You gotta lay him down. But I'm just telling you, Roy or whoever else is your shipmates or mates or whatever amongst in the military or whatever, stand down, pussy. Understand? We understand and we see where you coming from. You try to protect the bag like a good bitch do. See, a good bitch, and she know better. She know if daddy get in a fight or something like that, right? She know if daddy get in a fight. That shit is over. You understand what I'm saying? That means ain't no more money coming in or whatever. So what Perry, pussy ass Perry, the real house husband of Vegas, was doing, he was protecting the bag. He was making sure, don't worry about it, Shirelle. You just get on to the side, baby. I got it. 750. 750. So it's like a house husband would do. He moved over to the side so he would make sure that nothing happened. Now, Perry, listen to me very carefully. All right. You ain't going in the middle of the streets up here in the New York City tri-state. You ain't going into the middle of the streets of Los Angeles. You ain't going into the middle of the streets of Texas. You ain't going into the middle of the streets of Arizona because Arizona gets it in. You understand what I'm saying? You go into the you living right there. You're not even in Vegas, homie. You off the strip in Vegas. All right. I forgot what that little town is, but if y'all don't know Vegas very well, there's a whole bunch of little small towns and stuff like that that are also inclusive of what make up Vegas. You understand what I'm saying? So what y'all seeing is a strip where all the casinos and all that stuff is, but there's a whole bunch of little small towns that make up that county. You understand what I'm saying? Vegas is very similar to a lot of places in the United States where they just have a whole bunch of counties within the state. So where they live at is outside of the casino and all that or whatever. It's a little drive for them to get to the casino and all that. So I don't want y'all to mistake and think they live on the strip or some shit like that. They don't live on the strip. They live in one of them little small towns that surround Vegas. I had about two or three people come on my page that I guarantee was either Sharrell or Perry, because just like that person that was in the chat room just a minute ago that I just blocked, they all had the same similar thing. The profile was made 9 to 10 years ago. It's only got 2 followers, no material up there uploaded or whatever. If you talk to me, I automatically delete you. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's somebody susceptible to wanting to hide. What you hiding for? What you hiding for? Somebody go get Sharrell. Somebody go get punk ass house husband Perry. Tell him, come on over here. I'll talk to you. And if you think I'm just on here because I'm capping for Jaguar or whatever, you sadly mistaken. Yes, I'm on here because I know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And that's what happened ethics. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, so I respect you for being in the military. I respect you for serving this country. I honestly and truthfully do. My whole family is military. But trust me, sir, I grew up knowing what you had to learn. How to unload, reload, clean, disassemble, and everything else a pistol. And 3 other calibers. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I learned that from my uncles and them. All decorated enshriners, military and 2 other branches. Excuse me, Army and 2 other branches. So I don't have to sit up here and fester lies and shit like that or whatever. But let me continue. It was when Perry went on his little diatribe and set it up in the beginning of this video. And like I said, that link is right down below in the description box. And guys, also make sure you hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL 80 Stringer Bell 80 on Cash App. Because I'm really going to get into this, but I just wanted to set up a couple days so y'all think I'm just on here just talking crap to be talking crap. No, I'm really bothered by this because it seems like these two specifically are using Jaguar to try to make themselves look authentic. And y'all motherfuckers ain't authentic. Y'all fake as fuck. Especially you, Shirelle. You made a whole living off of talking about people. You understand what I'm saying? And you've been doing it for years, if not decades now. And you at one time probably might have been you was a strong, maybe 6 or 7 back in the day. You understand what I'm saying? I can see a strong 6 or 7 with makeup coming out of you back in the day. Strong 6 or 7. You know what I mean? She was the type of chick you grab a number and she'd be like, "You gonna call me?" You'd be like, "Oh, all right." You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Or she'd be like, "Are you gonna be here tomorrow night?" "Yeah." "Oh, all right." You know what I'm saying? "You need a ride home?" "Oh, all right." "You need cab fare?" "Oh, all right." You know what I'm saying? "Am I gonna see you again?" "Oh, all right." You know what I mean? That's the type of chick she was. You understand what I'm saying? And I could tell by the dude that you picked. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you don't get. I could tell by the dude that you picked. You picked the last contender. Because listen to me. Look at Shirelle and look at Perry. Look at Shirelle and look at Perry. And y'all tell me if them two match. Many people out here, and you even reiterated the same words during your podcast. Many people are calling y'all roommates because that's what y'all look like. Y'all look like roommates. Y'all don't look like anything is solid there. And you could tell that the only person trying to hold on here is Perry. Perry, she might have a side dude. I know you ain't never realized that or thought about that, but she might have a side dude. She might have a side dude. Because ain't no way in hell that feminine voiced man is going to sit. They sound like two girlfriends talking. Am I making this up? Don't that man sound feminine the way he talk? Even when I was listening to his podcast, he sounded feminine. Now, I'm not talking about LBGTQ or whatever. Respect to them. I'm not talking about that crowd. And when I say things like this, I never mean to include them in it because my cousin's part of that crowd. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her. I don't mean to insult them because then I'll be a hypocrite. No, what I mean is a feminine man, meaning that you're not even part of that accolade, but at the same time, right? Somehow, seemingly or another, you seem to fit the foray of that. This is a man that has a very feminine voice. The way he articulates himself is very feminine. The way he talks and come across is very feminine. The engagement he had with his subscribers that were on there, they were all females. And the one man that was on there, he was totally quiet because I guess old Roy, that was a dude's name. I swear to God, I can't make this up. Roy. You understand? These people all have old school names. Roy, Perry, Sharrell. Somebody go over there and get Shirelle and Peaches. Tell them, come on here. Shirelle. I heard that name. So my mama used to have a friend named Sharrell or Cynthia. Those are old school names. Uh, With that aside, Perry has a very feminine voice. And the way he was interacting with everybody that was on his page that chose to call in and chime in or whatever, these were all women. These were all older women. You understand what I'm saying? Respectfully, not attractive older women either. There's attractive older women. Halle Berry is 54 years old or 53. Angela Bassett is 60 something. You understand what I'm saying? Angelina Jolie is in her 50s now. Cindy Crawford is in her 60s now. Man, do I need to go on? All these women are beautiful women that I would take down at the snap of a dime. Let Sade show up right now. You getting it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care. Sade is almost 60 years old. So it's not about age necessarily. It's about the upkeep that you had in between. And there has not been any upkeep from Perry whatsoever. Perry ain't been in the gym in years. And I'm not saying that I think Perry like them boys, but I'm just saying I think something going on with Perry inside and he trying to hide it. You understand what I'm saying? And your voice is speaking for you. Now, I be around a lot of dudes, or a lot of times I hang out with dudes, I party with dudes, you know what I mean? We go to clubs together, all that or whatever, whatever. And one of the things that I was taught when I was young, you gotta have some bass in your voice. You understand what I'm saying? Don't try to talk feminine or whatever, because what's gonna happen is most men when they date you, they gonna be like, oh, they're gonna write you off, especially here in the New York City tri-state. They gonna write you off. You come in talking to a man with a soft ass voice, they gonna write you off automatically. This man got a soft voice, and you sitting up there and you go into bats when your woman had the opportunity earlier, and she claims, "Oh well, I'm just gonna be soft-hearted because I care about Jag." Da, 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 da. You knew exactly what you two were motherfucking doing. You knew that that bitch was gonna come up on motherfucking stage, turn around, and make it look like she the light end of the portion of the conversation, and then you would come in and try to murder it, try to get some views and shit like that on that little 33,000. Nigga, you should have more views. You should have more subscribers than I do. Your wife got 440,000 subscribers. The fact that you on there every day acting like stepping, fetching, and tap dancing for whatever she say because you a house husband, I'm not gonna let that off. You a house husband, homie. I know a house husband when I see one. If y'all don't know the definition of a house husband, there's three different types of house husbands. There's a one house husband that just sits around, and that's the most adorned one you'll see. This is the house husband that sits around, and the girl that lives in the high rises or the projects, or the girl that lives on Section 8, or the girl that's got a couple kids, or whatever the case may be. Who's this? Pauline Camus. I don't know who the fuck you are, bitch, but bye. And that's another thing too. All his followers and all her followers, they're very heinous people. They come in and these people be 50 shit. I'm gonna go back into what I was saying in a second and give y'all definitions, but I just want to say something based off that bitch that just said what she said. And yes, I do mean you a bitch. Everybody in your house is a bitch. Your family legacy is a bitch. So anyway, what happens is, right, you get people that are on that side or whatever the case may be, that are for Perry and for Sharrell. You got to notice that they have a certain character about them. They're very heinous people when it comes to judging or putting in the measurements of somebody else. But as soon as you say something about them, these bitch ass motherfuckers want to curl up. You understand what I'm saying? These are the cowards of society in any other circumstance. But online, they want to act like they tough. You understand what I'm saying? Have you ever seen Sharrell or Perry go on scene somewhere and do an interview or do or talk about somebody? Have you ever seen them outside that house? Ever? Think about it. Have you ever seen these motherfuckers outside that house giving a fucking live? No, and you won't. Because these coward motherfuckers sit in the house and do this shit, and all their coward ass supporters are framed to support them based off that. You understand what I'm saying? So don't get mad at me when I'm up here talking about house husband Perry and calling him for what the fuck he is. I'm not a nobody. You understand what I'm saying? That's where you're making a mistake. You're thinking I'm a nobody. Don't nobody know me. I'm just some random dude jumping on YouTube. No, bitch. I was in the entertainment industry for 17 motherfucking years, and I worked under one of the best, Sean Diddy Combs. You understand what I'm saying? And all the other people that worked under him. I was in office buildings. I walked through Interscope, Arista, and Atlantic Records, who were all our distributors. You understand what I'm saying? So please don't mix me the fuck up with somebody that has a history, a job history of working at fucking McDonald's, bitch. I got a better job history than you and your husband. Let's get that shit clear, real fucking clear. All right? You're not talking to one of these average fucking YouTubers that just jumps up here and talks about what he talk about. I'm starting to call some of you motherfuckers out because instead of doing a service for the people, you're doing a disservice for the people and calling out blatantly what you're doing. You're using the people to make a coin. You understand? So if you could get on your fucking podcast every day, just like when you finish talking about Jaguar Wright and talking about, oh, this gossiping and all this stuff. I'm talking about you, Sharrell. All this gossiping and all this stuff is terrible. And then, bitch, you segue right into gossiping and talking about Bishop Whitehead down there in Brooklyn. You ain't never even been to Brooklyn. I went to his church. I went to Brooklyn on location to his church, and all my followers will tell you, and the video's still up here. And if you know anything about Brooklyn, I was in a danger zone. Put it this way, I had to make a phone call before I went down there, called my man G. I was like, yo, G, I'm coming through. Da, 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 da. Yo, don't worry about that. You good, you good, you good. My man's was standing right there on the block the whole time I'm filming, just to make sure I'm good. He sent people through to make sure I'm good. It's in the video. Go check it out for yourself. So don't make no mistake about it and act like I'm some new jack and I'm just coming around. I'm unexperienced. I'm just some. No, bitch, I lived this life day in and day out. I remember going 2, 3 days without sleeping because we got to go to this club or Dream or Fountain Blue or whatever, whatever. Bitch, you better wake the fuck up. This is my world. So when I hear you sit up there and I ask yourself the question of how you got fucking um sued 3, 4 times in the course of 3 years, the fucking pandemic was going on and people were suing you. I can't make this up. And it's white folks suing you. These ain't African Americans suing you. These are white people suing you. Diane was white. The Yates were white. The other person that sued you was white. They all were white. You got one case dismissed and the other two, I don't know what's going on with those. But the fact remains, you were sued, and under the premise of the conversation and the lawsuit, it was because of you lying. Now you're trying to sit up here and act like you're antithesis of fucking morality and truth when you were sued for lying. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Nobody gets sued almost 3 times for telling the truth. You get sued because you're a liar. Now moving on to house husband Perry. House husband Perry is like many men in this country. He can't come to contention with it. And I'll go on in a minute and go back to what I was saying about the 3 types of house husbands. But house husband number one, Perry here, has not come under the realization that he fits in one of these 3 categories. That is the first house husband that is the type that is on the lower end of the totem pole. That's the one that stays with the girl who lives in the housing projects or moves in with a girl that's on, Section 8 or something like that, or some type of housing assistance or whatever. And he just makes himself at home, doesn't attribute to the situation except for his words. He'll go somewhere with her every now and then. He'll take her to dinner. Oh, Valentine's Day is coming up. Let me take Boo some flowers or something like that. You know what I mean? And then she's paying for something at the register when they go to the store or something like that. He'll do the ever ongling, like I used to call it all the time, the house husband hug. That's when he come up from behind you and squeeze you and kiss you on the neck. Better peep that shit. I'm trying to tell you, I've seen it done a million times. He'll come around you from the back, squeeze you and kiss you on the neck. Love you. That's one type of house husband. The second type of house husband I kind of respect. That's the house husband that actually comes in. He may be consistent of what I mentioned in the first, but more so he's more consistent of what I call in the second, meaning that his girl may have more a little bit of leeway because she pays the bill, but this man goes to work every day. He's got money in his pocket. If something pop up, he's able to pay for it. It might not be fully the way you want to pay for it, but he's putting in the effort. I can respect that type of house husband. But the third type of house husband, oh, that's the worst. And that's what you get when you get someone. Let me not say that. Mary, I'm sorry. I ain't gonna use you, Mary J. I ain't gonna use you. I ain't gonna use you. But in some cases, some of these women, I ain't gonna use you either, Fantasia. I'm sorry. Hold on. I ain't gonna use you either, Jennifer Hudson. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I ain't gonna use you either, Britney Spears. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So you can fuck around and get Kevin Federline out here, ladies. Let me tell you what I mean by that. There's these type of house husbands that are out here that initially and intentionally go after women with money, or they see on the rise, or they see something gonna come out of them, right? They get with these women, and these women make millions of dollars or become very lucrative, whatever the case may be, right? And what happens is, once these women become rich and they become lucrative, then these men attach themselves to these women. Oh, baby, I love you. Oh, baby, you're so beautiful. Or whatever, whatever. I had to make a guess about Perry. Perry had that same eye. Based on the fact that Perry and this one are around about the same age, they kind of settled for each other. You understand what I'm saying? They kind of settled for each other. Yes, men settle too, and women settle. They kind of settled for each other. That's what I personally believe. And I think there may be some love there. But as feminine as Perry is, it seems like Perry is just along for the ride. And I honestly and truthfully can tell you this is the way I see it. I see these two splitting up. I honestly and truthfully, put me down on record for that. I honestly and truthfully see these two fucking fucks splitting up. Either she's gonna get sued and it's gonna be a suit that sticks this time, and he's gonna creep his way the fuck on out, just like house husbands do. When the heat come on, them motherfuckers dip. That's one thing I can say about Goomba. Goomba stood his motherfucking ground, didn't he? Goomba stood his ground. Let's give a shout out to Goomba and respect this man for that. Goomba stayed his ground when it came down to Solar, beating the snuffleupagus off that motherfucker, as he should have. Two, you understand what I'm saying? When Jaguar came back, he stuck by his broad. He said, "Get your motherfucking ass in this house. Get on my goddamn nerves." You understand? When Jaguar was in the car trying to turn up, you understand? He said, "Now wait a goddamn minute. We're gonna have some order in this motherfucker, like a man's supposed to." Perry, on the other hand, Shirelle run that house. Please believe me when I tell you that. Shirelle run that house. And everybody on camera can see it. And based off everybody that you were listening to, that was listening to you on your little punk ass podcast, they know it too. They know Sharrell run that house. So the problem I had with Perry when he was doing his whole little diatribe online and he was talking about, like I said, the link is down below and it'll be self-explanatory, everything I'm saying. I think when once y'all go see the video and then y'all connected to what I'm saying, you go fully understand why I'm saying what I'm saying and why I'm saying it the way I'm saying it, because this is a pussy ass man. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying pussy in regards that you weak or you won't pop. What I'm saying is you a pussy in the fact of as far as a man is concerned, it's obvious that you living off your broad. Now, Perry, here are my suggestions. First of all, if something needs to be said about Jaguar Wright, next time let your motherfucking bitch say it. You understand what I'm saying? Let your bitch say it. Don't have your bitch come online. And I'm talking to you as a G right now, my man. You understand? If you got a fucking problem with it, come see me with your hands. Come see me with your hands, Perry. I'm right here in the New York City tri-state. I'm easy to find. You understand what I'm saying? Please don't come see me with a gun, Kerry. You're not gonna make it home. I'm not gonna be by myself, Perry. You or Roy ain't gonna make it home. Now, this is my point, right? In the future, Perry, if you're gonna sit up there and you're gonna go on an hour-long diatribe, put her name in the hashtag to get some views. Put your wife's name in the hashtag to get some views on the video. Yes, you did, bitch nigga. Yes, you did. You put Jaguar Wright, Sharrell's World, and then you put your name at the end. You understand what I'm saying? Which even leads me more to believe you trying to get a name off your wife and her. And I think that was the motherfucking, I think that was the fucking sure D, how can I say it here, inspiration for you doing what you did. Because there was no reason for you to do this video. He did this video literally an hour after Sharrell had went live, which was the day before yesterday, I believe it was now, which was Saturday. He did this video an hour after that, and he put at the end of the title, "I'm not my wife." Yes, you are your wife. You a bitch ass nigga just like your wife is. Y'all both two punk bitches. Y'all hide behind the doors and the confines of your house. You're never out. I tell you what, Perry, leave out your house and go do a fucking video in one of the casinos in Vegas. Go out your house and do a video impromptu walking the streets of Vegas. You and Sharrell both, unarmed by yourself. Each one of y'all, I want each one of y'all to walk around, and then after that, I want you to extend. I want you to go to Los Angeles, walk around, be in the open where people can see you, and all the malicious shit you say on camera, or whatever the case may be, where people can have a free grab at you, or be able to interact with you, or intervene with you outside of a camera work. And I guarantee you won't do it. You know how they won't do it? Because one of the things I perfected a long time ago, and I got this from Puff, was when we was in front, we was in these clubs, right? There was always people that didn't like us. They might not like us because we was with Puff. They might not like us because of the artists we were representing. They might have had some beef or something like that. They might not like us because we from up north and we from the New York City tri-state. They might not like us for whatever reason. And what we had to do is we had to learn how to counter that. You understand what I'm saying? And you can't always counter it with force. You can't always counter it with abrasive tendencies, if you want to say. Sometimes you just got to be out cunning of the other. But one thing you got to do is you always got to keep your temperament. Now, you guys have seen me do videos in front of Def Jam. Y'all have seen people come out the window and look at me. Oh, that's just him. You know what I'm saying? Because for one man, he recognized me. Y'all see me go in front of Bad Boy Entertainment. Y'all done see me go in front of Trump Tower. Y'all done see me go numerous different places, and my aura doesn't switch. You understand what I'm saying? My words don't switch. Now, depending on where I'm at, I have to be a little bit more articulated than I usually am. But I'm still smoking. I'm still drinking my coffee. I'm still cursing. I'm doing everything that I normally do. These guys, they're not going to do that. You tell me somewhere within 2021, Sharrell did one video outside that fucking house. Send me one link with Sharrell did. I'm trying to prove something to y'all. Y'all not getting it. The reason these motherfuckers are talking the way they're talking because they're in the confines of their homes and nobody is there to intervene. Versus them coming outside and doing lives and going live in locations where people are present to intervene. People are present to say something to them. People are present to say, yeah, that's not true. So these people like Sharrell, Perry, they sit in their fucking rooms and they talk about whatever the fuck they want to talk about. But if you want to put it in a comparison rate between Goomba and Jaguar Wright, at least they the fuck outside. They go live everywhere that they're at. That's called fearless. What you and Sharrell do, that's called fearful. Fearful. Because either one of you elderly motherfuckers could whoop your way out of a wet paper bag. Perry, you ain't worked out in 15 years. I can look at your body type and tell. All right? Ain't nothing about you that say physical. All right? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Ain't nothing about your wife. They say physical workout. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing. So you two elderly motherfuckers need to get out of the teenage ecosphere and start doing something else. Now, at y'all age, 55 plus, shouldn't y'all be doing a little bit more of a different type of of show? Like you guys at 55 something fucking years old, y'all should be teaching everybody. I'm at least 12 years younger than y'all. All right. So even at that case, why wouldn't, even at that case, I sit here and I do shows and I talk about the youth and I talk about school shootings and I talk about all this stuff all the time. And sometimes those views, the other night I went down to Manhattan and I went over there and I filmed the immigrants and their protests or whatever. These are things that matter. And I gave my diatribe and my confessions on my own about my own personal situation going through that. You understand what I'm saying? You reach 400,000 people, and the only thing you do every day is sit there and give measurement and your copacetic view on how somebody else's life is, but y'all ain't even looking at your own life. Y'all don't get on camera and talk about your life. Y'all don't get on camera and talk about why Perry sound like a bitch in the fourth ward. Perry, you sound like a woman. And I don't know why nobody's ever told you. I'm not talking about you sound like a woman as far as a gossip. I think your voice sounds feminine. Your mannerisms sound feminine. And if you were around me, I wouldn't even pay attention to you. Now, I'm literally to say most men up this way wouldn't pay attention to you because you sound like a woman. And I just got a thing where if you ain't part of that LBGT community, you sound like a woman just regularly or whatever, that usually points that you was raised by a single mom. You understand what I'm saying? A single mom and you had a lot of sisters or female cousins. I know the type, man. You can't fool me. I know these dudes. They're the same ones that get all emotional. At one point in that video, it was like you was getting ready to say, yes, honey. Yes, girl. That's what it sounded like. If you go down, the video's right down below in the description box. Y'all go check it out for yourself. If you go listen to the video, y'all will hear exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all hearing me talk without seeing the video. But when y'all go see the video, you will understand what I mean. There was no motherfucking reason whatsoever, punk ass house husband Perry, that you should have went on live after your wife said clearly to the camera, clearly and reiterated 2 or 3 times. The broad said, yo, listen, I'm not going to go in on her. I actually am worried about Jack. You ain't worried about no motherfucking Jaguar, right, bitch? You was worried about your views. You was worried about your perception. You was worried about your fucking reputation if you got any. This broad has been sued 3 times since 2020. There's been 3 attempted suits on this chick. Diane Jenkins, the Gates, and I forgot who the other person is. I ain't got time to go check it real quick, but it was another woman. All three of these women, all three of these people sued her, and I don't know if your cousin was inclusive on all the suits or just one or two of them. But I know Perry, you were involved in at least one of the suits. That much I have confirmed. That's why your ass sit back and shut the fuck up when you on camera nowadays, because y'all scared of another suit. 9 times out of 10, it was probably something Perry said and not what Sharrell said. So when we put all this in retrospect or whatever, and I'm not trying to make a guess or a gamble of this, and I'm going to get off of here in a second. But what I had a problem with was I ain't got no personal beef with Perry. I don't have to go see Perry. Perry, please don't try to come see me. It's not going to end up well for you. But I want to say this. You guys have got to start recognizing these men, because I had somebody from that little crew come on my page and write, I can't believe men are out here gossiping. Yet and still, you go on this bitch's page every motherfucking day and sit there and listen to her house husband sit there and deliver the same type of gossip. Y'all sit there and go to her house husband's fucking YouTube page and he's sitting there gossiping too. So what the fuck are you talking about? No, what you really mean is you were trying to insult me and then think forehead that beforehand you didn't think and say to yourself, oh, well, hold up, I do the same thing. And I actually go to somebody's page that does the same thing. Oh, wow, what the fuck am I talking? Let me fall back. That's why I challenge how intelligent some of these viewers actually are. Because when you really look down and you break it down, some of these motherfucking viewers are dumb as shit. You're talking to a lot of people a lot of times that haven't even graduated high school. Some people that have just stumbled their way through life. You understand what I'm saying? Some people that have just lucked out through life or whatever. These are not the most intelligent people that are sitting back. And then when you look at their own lives, tell them to put their own lives on camera. Some of the people that are judging people on these YouTube pages, these subscribers or whatever, live in the depths of hell. They can't even get up out their bed without motherfucking gunshots flowing. There's somebody in the kitchen right now that they can't stand. These people live miserable, and yet still, what they're trying to do is they're trying to give you the projection and the perception that there's somebody that they aren't. You understand what I'm saying? Have you ever heard Sharrell or Perry come up online and just give a whole dissertation of what their life has been like? Of course they won't. Has Sharrell ever come up online, which is something I know, and tell you about how many forfeited opportunities she had in the real entertainment business? You don't say nothing about that, do you, bitch? Huh? And why? Let's underline why. Let's underline why. Now, I know somebody you guys know in common, Gary, right? And you know Gary can't fucking stand you, Sharrell. I'm going to call him Gary by his middle name. I'm not going to call him by his full name. But you know who the fuck I'm talking about. You know he can't fucking stand you. Why can't he stand you? Talk about that on the next show. And there's a couple other people that don't like Sharrell. And based on the fact that they don't like Sharrell, Perry doesn't like them. And who gives a fuck who Perry likes? Perry, you're a nobody. You sitting up there talking about, you've never been around Clive Davis. So how the fuck do you know? I've actually been around Clive Davis. Clive Davis gave Puff the deal. The first building I was in was 1540 Broadway in New York City was the BMG building, the Bertelsmann Music Group. You ain't never been around no fucking Clive Davis, so you're making a guess. You've never been around Jay-Z, so you're making a guess. You've never been around Puff, so you're making a guess. You don't know the inner workings of how our system works, how we engage with each other or whatever. What you're making your mistake, and when many people like Sharrell and Perry and people just like them make their mistake, is they think we interact the same way that you interact based on the fact of the same hue of color or the same culture. No, we do fucking not. First of all, this is a white man's industry. You understand what I'm saying? So let's be very specific and very clear. Most of the time, most of us have to acquiesce ourselves and our personalities to fit in with this business. It's just the truth. You understand what I'm saying? There's very few that don't. But you can't just go into a fucking business meeting or a marketing meeting or well, how we gonna launch the next project, a launch meeting. You can't go into that just spitting straight slang. Because there's going to be people in those meetings that don't understand what the fuck you're saying. They don't want to know what the fuck you're saying. Your job is to make sure they understand what you're saying because you're their investment. These people just gave you $2 million. So I'm tired of the pretending that comes from a lot of these vloggers. And I'm going to put Shirelle because Shirelle, you've been in the mix. But Shirelle, you wasn't one of us for years. You're not one of us. And you know you're not one of us. What do I mean by one of us? Meaning I'm attached to Bad Boy Entertainment. And no matter what the fuck I do, I will never be removed from that. I've come to contention with that, and I'm cool with that. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. It's none of your fucking business. You understand? Just trust me on this one. If you ain't never believe nothing else on me, believe that. You ain't getting out of this shit. But as for you, Shirelle, you've never been one of us. You've never hung with us. You've never partied with us. And if you have, you were just on the scene and you said hi to a couple people and you left right after, especially out there in Vegas, which Puff frequents a lot. Now you talk all that shit about Puff before. I done seen the videos you put up about Puff, and I'm not here to necessarily defend Puff either. But how come you don't show up at any of the clubs when Puff be out there at the club? You could ask him yourself, right, Sharrell? You're not going to do that because it's safer, what? To say it inside my house where nobody can intervene. That's the part that everybody's missing. And I picked up on that a long time ago. I don't come from a background where you could walk around, talk about people, whatever, and then you don't have to come outside. No, these people sit like Sharrell and punk ass house husband Perry with his pussy ass. Y'all sit in the house and y'all talk about people because Perry, you was inside. You had a background in the video that made it look like you were on the strip in Las Vegas. Nigga, you don't live on the strip in Las Vegas. You live in one of them little small ass towns right outside of the strip. And I know what specific one. I'm just not going to put you out there like that, but I know where you live at. So why you got the background of the strip in the back, like you staying in one of the fucking hotels out there, you rent a suite in one of the hotels. Get the fuck out of here, homie. There's people that do that in Vegas. There's people that'll come to Vegas, plus one of them. They'll rent the junior suite or the master suite or whatever. They'll keep it for a month, 2 months. Some people will make it their residency if you got the money. But that costs way more than $5 million, which y'all currently bringing in. That's for somebody that's making well over $20 million a year, if not more. So, ending this, because I don't want to talk too much about punk ass house husband Perry. But Perry, let me give you a couple suggestions here, my boy. First of all, put some bass in your voice. You sound like a bitch, all right? You got a lisp in your voice and you sound like a bitch that's getting ready to motherfucking transition, all right? That's all I'm saying to you. All right, I'm not trying to get in on your sexuality or whatever. I'll just say, based on what you demonstrate, it's kind of questionable. You understand? You got a lot of lisp in your voice. When you was doing that interview, when you was doing your podcast, which is right below in the subscription box, you guys can go check it out. Also, there's a Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Also, there's a GoFundMe. Also, there's a PayPal link. Please utilize those. Donate something this morning. Because unlike Perry and fucking Sharrell, I actually go out and go places. I go to places like Seneca Village, which I visited, which was a old location for housing for African Americans. One of the first that was established before the Civil War. Make sure you guys check that out. I go on a lot of trips here, so I you know what I mean. I don't like just using my money. I appreciate if people would contribute to the channel, whatever. Because unlike how y'all made Sharrell and this dude lucrative from just sitting in their house and giving gossip that at one time in this country you'd be sitting under the fucking nail salon or sitting in front of the corner store and be reserved for there. They're making money off of it. And I just don't understand the ideology of many black people that seem to frequent and evidently come in my chat room and defend these motherfuckers. Hey, Kathy Black, what's going on? So I just want to say to you guys, make sure you contribute to the channel, whatever, because what y'all need to start doing is start circumnavigating yourself and moving away from these people. You're making people rich that don't do anything but sit in their house. They're lazy. They don't get up. If you don't get up and go on location to places or go up and at least offer to visit places for your viewers or whatever, you're fucking lazy. And as viewers, y'all should demand more. Y'all should demand more than a fucking Shirelle and motherfucking Perry. Perry the pussy. I knew you was pussy, first of all, when you had your man come on there talking about this Roy right here. This Roy. Roy, let him know, Roy, ain't nothing going on. Roy, let him know, Roy. Y'all see what I'm talking about when y'all watch the video. The video's in the description box as well as the Crash app. Check it out. That's that little upside down triangle that's right under the what's the name, the title here. You had your boy come in first. And then after you had your boy come in, you talked all the shit you wanted to behind your boy. So you was hiding behind your boy. How come you ain't say that on your girl's podcast? Oh, I forgot she wouldn't let you. She wouldn't let you. Right? She wouldn't let you. I get it. She wouldn't let you, huh, Perry? That's what happens when you live with somebody else. How many of y'all think that's Perry's house? Y'all think that's Perry's house, or y'all think that's Sharrell's house? And if you do think it's Perry's house or Sharrell's house, how much stake do you think and say so do you think Perry has in that house? And I guarantee you, it's little to none. I know motherfuckers like that. They good at that. I've seen dudes that were driving Benzes and all kinds of shit or whatever. And if you go look at the motherfucking deed on that car, if you go look at the registration on that car, him and his girl on it. And his girl's name is usually first and his name is second. Oh, you can't fool me. I'm not into that whole pretending shit or whatever that this is what cheap motherfuckers do. You understand what I'm saying? Because it take a little bit longer to do it. So since they got so much haste to want to get it, they're in a rat race to get it. What they'll do is they'll go through things that if they just waited an extra, in some cases, an extra year, it would all be in their name. This is the same example I gave y'all yesterday when my man taught me that a long time ago. Why save up, let's say, 10 grand for a used car that's a 2008 or something like that, when you could save up 20 grand and get the car that you want that's a 2018, 2019 at the bare minimum? Why? Because that's how much in a rush they are to stunt and front and stagger all around the neighborhood. Little do they know, it's going to end up costing you that extra at least 7,000 that you could have thrown towards the later model car. You understand what I'm saying? Because of pure simple fact that 2008 or 2009 is going to consistently break down. You're going to have the water pump problems, starter problems, all that stuff. And now you're going to end up spending 5 or 6 grand any damn way, where you could have just saved that extra 5 or 6 grand and got your own shit. Better shit. You understand? So you got to understand the makings and the meanings of dudes like this. This is the dude that was in a rush. He's living under the guard of what other people's decision making is. And what I'm trying to tell y'all is y'all folding, trying to worst thing you could ever do in your life. And I want all you young cats to remember this, and some of you older ones too. Don't ever in your life dedicate your time to showing off for the hood. Don't ever dedicate your time to trying to stunt for the hood. Don't ever dedicate your time and trying to show the hood that you're getting it. The best thing you could do, if you really want to show the hood that you're getting it, collect your money, save your money, and move the fuck up on out of there as quick as you can. And when you're gone, then they say, oh shit, he was getting it. And don't let nobody know where you moved to. Let it be a fucking mystery. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the neighborhood I live in is not a bad neighborhood. The neighborhood I live in, most of the people that live around me are generally good people. You understand what I'm saying? And most of them, they're the type that I would knock on their door if I saw there was something going wrong, or they could come to my door if they was in a need or emergency or whatever the case may be. You know, we have a Unitarian belief system around here. I do believe that we'll help out each other if we're in distress, right? But when you're mean and you're nasty and you're belligerent like these people are, these two, Perry and fucking Shirelle, your house could be burning down to the ground, and I guarantee you, would nobody come over that motherfucker to help y'all. out of your subscribers, out of people that don't like you, because I'm not the only person that doesn't like you. I don't like Shirelle because of pure simple fact, and I didn't say I'd hate Shirelle. Hate is different. Hate is now I got malice and I'm after you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to tear you down. This post right here is not intent of turning them down. I don't want to detour y'all from going over there and subscribing to their page. I don't want to detour y'all from fucking going over there and watching their what's the name. I don't want y'all to flag them. I don't want y'all to harass them. I don't want y'all to bother them. We don't do punk shit like that over here. But what I want you to do is I want you to start looking at people like Sharrell, her husband, because I find a contradiction here. Shirelle, you had the opportunity and you a woman and Jaguar's a woman. So you could have said whatever you wanted to on there. You knew before you went on camera that punk ass Perry was going to motherfucking pick up the slack. And punk ass Perry went on his own little broadcast and decided to bring on other women. You had a whole panel full of women, Joe, to talk about Jaguar, and one man to sit on this panel, what? To scare everybody? That's what Roy's supposed to do? Boy, listen, man. Don't get involved in his shit. I don't care how long y'all known each other. I don't care if y'all service mates or whatever the fuck else. You understand what I'm saying? Because let's keep it a buck. Y'all couldn't even avoid them IUDs over there that was exploding y'all left and right. God bless those that were harmed. So don't act like you can't get touched. She said lover. Michael said lovers. The other thing, man, I just want to say this, right? I don't know if Roy what's the name of lovers. The only thing I know is Perry sound real feminine. And I just can't get over that. When I was listening to this man, I had to eventually cut him off. Because I was starting to it was starting to sound like this motherfucker was hanging with the girls under the hairdryer. Like everything he was saying, the link is right down below, guys. So you go check it out in the description box. Go check it out. Come back. Tell me what you think. I'm going to stay here for another 15, 20 minutes. Also, down below is the Cash App. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. Show me some support. You understand what I'm saying? I try to support other people when they right or they wrong or whatever. Make no mistake about it. Me and Jaguar, we were flustered at a moment. We and her appeared on camera with each other or whatever. I've known people that have worked with her. I've known people that have performed with her. You understand what I'm saying? So make no mistake about it. I'm familiar with her. So I have a personal interest in this, and she is part of our accolade as far as musicians. I think the first time that we finally got to talk with each other, whatever the case may be, I was really trying to warn her at the moment. Watch these fucking vloggers, because these motherfuckers don't give a shit about you. You understand? And you'll say to me, well, you a vlogger, aren't you? Yeah, but I'm different. And I think a couple other people like Big Face Gary, you understand? I seen a couple other people, shout out to him, Rockefeller Records, and a couple other people, whatever, that have actually been in the Skino. I seen you the other day. I never met you before. Emilio, I think it was either Skino or Emilio. I think it wasn't Emilio. I forgot who she was talking to. She was talking to Shorty. I think that's Sparks. Yeah, Sparks. She was talking to Sparks. But I saw like when you come from the music business or the media business and now you're a vlogger, I think that's different than somebody just ordinarily just picking up a mic and just saying, I'm gonna start talking. Because people that come from media and people see what media train. You understand what I'm saying? That's first thing. When we were talking from the time that Puff was going to court, I was around during that time when he was going to court for the whole Jennifer Lopez, Sean thing or whatever. We talked to NBC, CBS, Sway in the Morning, the MTV interviewed us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you learn how to talk to the press. You know what to hamper, what to hold back. You know what to give. You know how much to give. Whatever. Then you move on, right? Because the interviews usually come in little short spurts and stuff like that. So meaning that you got anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds to say whatever you go to say in front of those news cameras. So people that come from the music industry and I think from media or whatever, unless they're infamous or insidious in their intentions or their whole thing is about being salacious in their material, usually what happens is they very much coattail what they say. Now, people that are from those industries that just don't give a damn, those are different people, and those are usually people that ain't got nothing left to lose. You understand what I'm saying? I have a lot to lose. There's listening. Perry has to find a woman that helps spice up their bedroom. They sleep in separate bedrooms. So see, I heard that too. They sleep in separate bedrooms. I'm trying to tell you, I don't think they need another woman. I think, now I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna say I think Perry is But I'm just saying, there's a lot of things pointing there. You understand what I'm saying? More so his voice. Up here in the New York City tri-state, usually when I know what somebody where they fit in, and I'm answering Michael, usually when I know where they fit in, is usually by the active in their voice. Now, this is not necessarily always true. Sometimes these guys they sound quite feminine and they might be masculine, and you just don't know it because you used to listening to a certain type of dude that sound like that. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know what I mean? But on the case of Perry, I'm watching not only his mannerisms but his actions. Homie, you a house husband. When your bitch tell you to shut the fuck up, you shut the fuck up on her show. Then you follow behind and you're not able to say what you want to say on her show. So you go and take your own show and then you use it to bash a woman with other women that are elderly. All those women on there were older than me and Jag put together. Those women were old that were on there. These women were 60 something. One lady, she sounded like somebody's great grandmother. She sounded like she could barely breathe or whatever. And then I had one of them come on, and I swear to God, you sounded. This is the silly shit that Black and Latins do sometimes. They'll try to throw little snaps and jokes or whatever, whatever. Ain't nothing I'm saying. A snap of a joke is real. Like it is a resolve for answering the question. So, for example, right? I said that Perry and fucking Sharrell are elderly. Y'all motherfuckers are elderly. I wish I thought I'd be on YouTube at 55 fucking years old every day, dedicating my life to gossiping about other people's life. At 55, you're a fucking loser. I don't care if you got $5 million. $5 million is not a lot of fucking money. Like I said, they throw $2 to $3 million as advancements to these young kids that are 20, 25 years old. I know some of these dudes is running around with 5 million on their fucking neck. A fucking Bugatti costs damn near 2 to 3 million once you flex it out. So what I'm saying is here, when I meet men like Perry and their house husbands, because there's a lot of these house husbands out there in LA, there's a lot of these house husbands down there in Atlanta, there's a lot of these house husbands down there in Houston, definitely. There's a lot of these house husbands down there in Miami, and there's a few skirts and scoots of them here in the Northeast tri-state area. But the majority of them be out there in the West Coast, Florida, and Texas. And a lot of people know these house husbands, and a lot of people that's in the industry, y'all seen these house husbands before, and y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. A lot of these house husbands, they've been there for years with these women. You understand what I'm saying? And in many cases, they don't marry them. They don't want to, they barely sleep with them. In the case of Perry and this one, they sleep in separate bedrooms or whatever, whatever. They're there in contention of this basically using the person for their celebrity, what they assume or presume is a celebrity, or their money. Now, I'm not saying that Perry is using this chick or whatever, whatever, but let's just say Perry ain't making $5 million a year. Next thing I want to talk about Perry. Perry, you a bitch, nigga, for doing this. You never go on somebody else, you ever go on your program and try to direct. You notice how I told people, I said, that doesn't mean that y'all shouldn't go and check out Perry and Shirelle or whatever the case may be. Hell, for all I know, they may surprise us tomorrow and give us a basket of information that we needed. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to deter you from going to their channel. I want to reiterate that. I'm not here to tell you to unsubscribe for their channel. I want to reiterate that. I'm not here to tell you to go flag them or report them or any other case or whatever. That's not what I'm here. I'm here to just simply state what I see from this house husband. Now, house husband Perry, I want y'all to start calling him that too. House husband Perry. You know, I was playing. The house husband Perry right here comes from accolade men that I've seen before. And these men will use these women. They will ride the coattails or whatever. Because make no mistake about it, Shirelle is the big deal here, not Perry. That's why Perry only has 33,000 followers and she has 440,000. Mind you, that Perry is on the show with her every day and you only got 33,000. And your wife got 440,000. She bringing in 16 to 20K a month. Rough estimated anywhere between 3.2 to $5 million. And you telling me you only got 33,000 followers? It's because nobody gives a fuck what you got to say, Perry. Nobody gives a fuck what you got to say, bro. And y'all being 55, 56, however the fuck old you are, I couldn't imagine getting up every day and trying to find stories to gossip on somebody at 55, 56 years old. Y'all should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Y'all not leaders. Y'all not demonstrations. Y'all are the worst of the ghetto. You understand what I'm saying? This is what ghetto people do. This is how they cash out. They talk about people. And you talk about situations that you evidently make up. This is why you had 3 lawsuits since 2020, including the latest one that was just back in November 21st when you were served of 2022. You would just serve some papers for another lawsuit for lying. So nobody's making shit up here on you. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody's making nothing up on you that's not already out there, that's not public record. You motherfuckers are liars. So I didn't like today when I was watching the video, because I watched the video today, but it happened actually right after Sharrell did her live about Jaguar Wright the night before last. When I was watching the video footage, I noticed that you kept on edging on the fact that you were trying to destroy her business or make fun of her business or deter people from going for her business by telling them, oh, well, if you go to Philadelphia.com, it's saying error, blah, 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 blah. First of all, let me tell you something as someone that went to school for digital media. Let me explain something to you, Perry, because you ain't that bright. First of all, if you're using anybody else's engine or whatever, or you're building an HTML5 code or using HTML5 coding, or you're using app coding, which are totally different. I don't know which one she had, so I can't say. If it's an app, I'm thinking that she used app coding. You're going to usually use app coding software versus where HTML5, which was the basis when I was going to college, to build a script and build an interactive page, which can take you anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 weeks versus an app that can take you anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. Within a diagram of using somebody else's page or utilizing their already prefabricated tools, a lot of these websites, they'll allow you to build, like Wix is one of them. They will allow you to build a website there. So when you build, I'm going to get right to your question because I hear you. Right when they build a website, what happens is sometimes, depending on what the servers are like, that's the main thing. This is why many of y'all, and I've tried to explain it to you before, you will never be allowed to get the majority or even the bulk or the peak of all your subscribers if you're a vlogger, because the servers cannot handle it here on YouTube. This is why everybody, no matter who you are, you see anywhere between 1/3 to 1/3 of your subscribers show up. Andrea, the ex-mod, would find content for them. She MIA and they having issues finding content. Huh? Mike Stovall said twinkle toes. Twinkle toes. Oh shit. Mike Stovall. That name sounds so familiar. Stovall. You can't to any Stovalls or Ricardo Stovall? Let me know that, Mike, if you were kin to a Ricardo Stovall. That's interesting. Or a Raven Stovall. I know them. I grew up with them. But anyway, long story short, right? When you build these websites and you go to them, and depending on whoever the manager is of the website that you're utilizing to build your website upon, because this is most of the way it goes nowadays with Wix and other different places you can utilize like that. When you build on them, you're dependent on their servers. They're your host. This is people that don't understand how the way this shit works. But they're your host. So your host server sometimes can be broke down. It can have an error. It could be a script misreading or whatever the case may be or whatever. And at that time, yes, it is the responsibility of Jaguar to go in and see what's wrong with it or whatever the case may be. Okay, I can live with that. But when you're on your page, Perry, house husband, and you're sitting there and you're trying to deter people from going to the website, you're making fun of the website, you're suggesting that she's ripping people off. You're suggesting that she's ripping people off. Talking about, well, people didn't contacted me and they didn't say it. So how come you didn't say this when you was in good light with her? See, y'all missing the point. These two rotten motherfuckers, Sharrell and Perry, were cool with Jaguar. They were there. They got multiple videos on their page. And if you feel so bad about it, take all the videos you got or put them on private. If you want to keep what's in there, put every video that you got about Jaguar Wright, except for the recent ones where you're talking against her, put all those videos on private. You ain't gonna do that because you know, one, it would take away from the revenue you're getting from AdSense, and then two, you won't do it because you know it brings people to your page. And based off of what Mike just said right here, where he said the person that you had that was grabbing you all the stories, they disappeared. What's her name? Andrea? Ooh, what we gonna do? What we's gonna do? We sick. There's a whole bunch of Chuck in these two, and they're fucking an actor and an actress. And I can see right fucking through you, especially you, Perry. You're desperate. Oh, you're desperate. 55-year-old fucking man. Instead of offering counsel, he's on here trying to deter people from going against or going on a woman's website. There's a whole bunch of women on here I've beefed with before, including Shirelle. And I don't sit, I'm not beefing with Shirelle. I'm just contentious and I got my opinion. But I won't sit there and tell people, don't go check out Shirelle. You shouldn't check out Shirelle anymore. You shouldn't check out, Perry anymore. You shouldn't go to Perry's page. I want to go check out Perry. Go fucking check out Perry. Matter of fact, the link is in the description box. Subscribe to his fucking page. I don't care. You can even come back here after you subscribe to Perry and still utilize me and him. I don't give a shit. But what I do give a shit about is when you're sitting there and you do the same thing that I tell a lot of people they do to me. See, a lot of people will come on here. Let me tell y'all something. There used to be a time when I would come on the mic and people would donate to me. They would be very generous to me or whatever, as I was making my transition. And then I got a couple people that came in here because they didn't like some of the things I said or whatever. And they would go behind the scenes and they would tell people, yo, don't donate to this person. Don't put no money in this thing or whatever. And being that a lot of people, they I guess you would say almost followers, what happened was a lot of people started donating to the page. Now, if y'all want to make up with that slack, it's $STRINGERBELL80. But if you pay attention to what Perry said, and how he's doing it, and making fun of her website, telling people he's doing the same exact behavior right there on demonstration. And this is what hater motherfuckers do when they don't want you to make no money. There's a contingency of blacks and Latinos that are within these subscriber bases, and they listen to certain people that lead them because they can't think for themselves, so they need a motherfucker to lead them. Yes, there are people in the world that need people to lead them. Trust me when I tell you this. I spent 17 years watching in the music industry. There are certain people that need people, including some of your favorite artists, that need people to lead them. They don't know what the fuck to do until somebody is leading them. And if you need an example of that, watch them when they're with the record company versus when they're without the record company. You'll see a very big difference. Some people need that leadership role. You understand? So when I see these same people right there and I see the tactics of Perry, pussy ass house husband Perry, when I see pussy ass house husband Perry sit there and do the same tactics and tell somebody, don't go to her website. Don't do you made the joke about, oh, so she probably got a little GoFundMe, so she doesn't have a GoFundMe. They wait for the insurance money. You see what I'm saying? This is how shit like that gets started. And then what happens is your viewers now, based on the suggestion of a motherfucker that's doing the exact same thing as you, because make no mistake about it, his bitch is getting paid off AdSense by Google. This bitch ass nigga is probably getting a check with 33,000 followers. They got their cash apps up. They got a little secondary businesses they running and all kinds of other shit or whatever the case may be. But y'all want to sit up, well, not you, Sharrell, but your punk ass house husband, he wants to sit up and make a whole fucking video, which y'all guys can view right there in the description box. This punk motherfucker wants to make a whole video telling people not to check her out. Talking about, I'm not like my wife. You are like your wife. You might as well put on a fucking bra and panty set. You sound like a bitch. You are like your wife. You're just like your wife. For all we know, you might want it. She might dress you up on the weekends. Who knows? You know, a peg or two. A peg or two. This nigga's feminine, bro. And if you don't see that shit, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know one man that would sit up there and deter people from going to somebody else's. Fuck that. Deter people from going to somebody else's site. You have to be a real hateful motherfucker. And I've said this 3 or 4 times now. You have to be a real hateful motherfucker to sit around and tell people don't go to a certain person's website, don't utilize any of their fucking things or whatever the case may be, because you feel that way. Because you feel that way. So you're willing to throw somebody into poverty potentially. You're willing to stop somebody from extracting money possibly because of your own personal feelings. That's a coon. That's a tap dancer. This is the work of white supremacists, the same way they work. So I have no respect for any half a man like house husband, punk pussy ass fucking Perry. Because nigga, you had the chance to say everything you wanted to during your bitch's broadcast, and your bitch is bigger than you. So you had the chance to say everything you wanted to say during your bitch's broadcast, and your bitch wouldn't allow you. She said, Perry, you want to say one more thing? Either way, either they like the person or not. Give the person their own opinion to watch or not. Exactly. Give the person their own opinion whether to watch, whether to utilize, whether to purchase, or whatever the case may be. But we've got these a lot of these YouTubers, they believe, and they strategically believe this because they've always been that type of person. See, when I'm mentioning how old Shirelle and Perry are, I'm not mentioning to embarrass them by their age, because like once I gave an example, Angelina Jolie is their age. Fucking Halle Berry is their age. Angela Bassett is older than both of them, and she looks wonderful. I'm talking about their character. See, these have always been two condescendingly fucking out for the bag, narcissist, insidious, disgusting motherfuckers from the get-go. Look at what she chose to talk about. Out of all the niches you could have picked, you picked gossip to talk about. Right there, that was self-explanatory. And you're not talking about gossip in the guise of you're trying to help people or give them some information or something like that. You're just running with gossip, and whatever you can make out of it, you want to put it in comparison and act like you're at the tip of the measuring stick and be like, oh, this a mess, child. This a mess. You even got punk ass Perry saying the same shit. This a mess. You're repeating your girl's words. I ain't making this shit up. You're repeating your girl's words. Whoever has heard Perry on his fucking podcast talking about, oh, this a mess, child. This a mess. With that lisp. Sound like you've been sucking hard cocks all night. Only thing I'm saying to you, Perry, is something or another gotta give. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. If you don't donate, please hit that like button for me. I would appreciate it. Keeps us in the round, keeps us in the roll. And I want people to watch this because I want to show y'all the strategies that these old ass motherfuckers out here using, which is the same strategy that a lot of young people use. So, and I'm talking about younger than me. What these motherfuckers do is they go out there and they put your name out there and they try to tell people and deter people from donating to you and everything like that or whatever. Make no mistake about it. These are people that are seasoned haters. And they won't do this to anybody that's white. They won't go on. In the case of Sharrell and fucking Perry, evidently they will, because the three people that sued them were white. You understand? And I know I don't even care what they said. I've never really reached in to see what they said, and so it doesn't really matter to me. But what I have a problem with is Jaguar is trying to run a business. You can think however you want to about her. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You say you just sub to the channel. Jaguar can do whatever the fuck she wants to. The bottom line, what you're missing is a hospital determined what was wrong with her. A hospital determined the type of treatment they were going to give her. A hospital determined that they were going to let her go after 9 days sitting so eloquently or whatever the case may be. A hospital decided that. These mean clinicians that were bred, raised, reared, or whatever throughout the channels of their system in education to be able to make that decision. So, Perry, that means your unsupervised, untrained motherfucking eye, or your bitch's untrained, unsupervised eye or mindset or whatever the fuck else, shouldn't have shit to say. Oh, I think she's got this. I think she's got that. Well, you know what? The clinical psychiatrist said you're wrong. We got motherfuckers out here talking about who's mentally well and who's mentally not well. And these motherfuckers sit up every day and gossip about people. If you come to my channel is not about gossiping about people every day. Everybody knows that about me. I have videos that I don't even, I mean, excuse me, subjects that I don't even tackle, and I know they would give me 2,000 views, 3,000 views, 20,000 views, and I don't even talk about it. Why? Because I said I refuse to sit up here and talk about that gossip shit. Now I'll throw a clip up that'll be some, I guess you could say, an accompany piece for what y'all talking about, but I'm never going to go in on certain topics or whatever because I'm like, this is just gossip. But what I'm trying to use and utilize here is to show y'all not only the what the results are of this type of gossiping, which you can get sued 3 times within the course of fucking 2 years, like Shirelle. 3 people sued you. The latest one being as of November 21st, 2022. So not even this 3 months back in the game, you were getting sued again for telling lies. And Perry was involved in one of the lawsuits with the Yates. Y'all lie. And then you get online and you try to act like you're the antithesis of fucking truth and morality, and you're not. You're a piece of shit. You make your money off of giving piece of shit material. You make your motherfucking funnelings and your sales from doing piece of shit fucking contributions to YouTube. And I keep telling you guys, YouTube is changing. And they're going to stop, for y'all to monetize, they're going to stop monetizing this bullshit where y'all go up here and y'all regurgitate motherfucking already headline stories and all that shit or whatever. They're going to cut all that shit out. They're going to cut all of it out. And I know you don't think this, but they are. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Because I want this message to get out. So make sure if you haven't, hit the like button right now. I see all y'all in the chat room. I see all of y'all in here on the viewership. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. $STRINGERBELL80. I see some of y'all spend thousands of dollars a week with certain vloggers or whatever, to brag to them, to join in the conversation or whatever the case may be. Do the same here. Do the same here. If you want to sit around and you want to gossip about people or wonder what their lives are about or whatever the case may be or whatever, that's cool. You understand? I understand that little bit of what's the name, curiosity. I don't have Zelle, but there's also below in the description box, there's a PayPal there. Let me say that again. The Cash App is $, because Michael just asked me do I have Zelle. I don't have Zelle. Zelle messes up my phone, and I've heard they've had some problems and they were breached earlier last year, so that's why I don't use them. But I do use Cash App, which is $STRINGERBELL80. That link is in the description box right under the title. That's upside down triangle. There's also a link there for PayPal, which you don't need any sign up. There's also a link there for GoFundMe, which you don't need any sign up. You can just enter in your card information or whatever. It's more than protected. We're talking about a Google use product. You're on a Google use product right now. So I appreciate it, Mike. Anything you could donate or whatever to the cause. Because like I said, we move around. People on my channel, they know that. We all move around. I move around. I don't sit in one place. I'll be in Trump Tower 1 minute. I'll be over here at this record label. We got a whole bunch of other things to take y'all to too. I'm going to take y'all to another label where people know me at in a few minutes here. Thank you very much. Thank you, OG Patrice. I appreciate you. OG Patrice, many of y'all don't know, this is actually the woman that y'all saw in Jaguar's video the other day. So Patrice actually knows Jag. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not kicking y'all no bullshit here. I'm telling y'all the honest God truth. These people sit up online and they talk about people and make a living out of gossiping about people. And when one of your focal points about gossiping backfires on you, doesn't work out, now all of a sudden you got a problem with them and they ain't moral enough for you. Because that's what basically Perry was trying to say. Oh, these people, he was sitting there trying to have a roast session with a whole bunch of elderly women. And I said, this motherfucker sitting back with, what is this? It sounded like, you ever go to one of them convalescent homes and go visit your titi or your tío or your fucking auntie, your uncle, right? And you go to these places or whatever, and there's a whole bunch, especially in summertime, a whole bunch of people sit in front of the convalescent home or whatever, and they just joking and gossiping and whispering and shit. That's what this fucking chat room sounded like that this motherfucker was talking in. And when y'all click the link, which is right down the bottom of the description box, I want you to go watch the video for yourself and come back after you watch the video. I also put it in a pinned comment And I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. Because all I saw was pussification. You understand? From a man that is not a made man, but is dependent on his wife, a house husband. I don't respect house husbands of that caliber. If you want to come in and you want to defend your wife when it's justified, that's cool. But after your wife has come on in a prior broadcast and she said everything's cool, I'm just worried about her well-being. She gonna call me tomorrow anyway. We gonna still be friends and blah blah. This is all the shit Shirelle said on her post. And then less than an hour or two later, your punk ass husband, out of the fact of sensationalism, he wants to jump online and turn his punk ass around and say, oh, well, you know what? Let me tell you how I really feel. Let me get Roy on here. Roy, come on in here. I'm right here, Perry. Perry, 750. 750, 750. You old ass motherfucker. Well, y'all little old ass man, y'all gonna get twisted the fuck up out here. Some of y'all got arthritis. Y'all can't even squeeze the trigger no more. Like, let me tell you something. Ain't nothing worse than a military man that think he still got it. He like 60-something years old now. In some cases, that get you. Like that little situation down there in Texas. That boy tried to rob that restaurant. What was it called? Taquitos or something like that. That old motherfucker came out. He was about 60-something. He said, pop, 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 pop. You know what I mean? What do you say? I sub to you. I sent you something, David. Thank you very much, Hood Life Chronicles. I appreciate y'all. I got to start, getting back to who I was because I try to go a different couple directions, see what will work out or whatever. But I think this is where I need to be. Start to this center in on some of this shit that's going on here in YouTube and how YouTube is being utilized to harm other people of color. I'm just not with it. I'm just not with it. Y'all could have had this conversation, especially you, Carrie. You could have had this conversation in private. You came on for the real simple purpose on your channel or whatever to demoralize these two, and then you claim you and your wife that y'all care about them. That don't make sense to me. Now, Jaguar, you better not ever talk to neither one of these motherfuckers ever fucking again. I'll cuss your ass out too. You better not ever talk to these motherfuckers. You understand what I'm saying? They are the past. You see they ain't shit. You see they ain't shit. Leave these two motherfuckers alone. You understand what I'm saying? And I could think of about 6 or 7 other ones. And when I had that interaction with you on camera, we could throw that in the past. Don't worry about it. We're past it. Don't worry about it. It's water. When you go on the future of talking to these fucking vloggers, watch who you're talking to. Because take in consideration before you even walk in the room, at least out of 10 of them that you're dealing with, to say to yourself, it's going to be at least 6 of these motherfuckers that are going to do me wrong. Now, what can I do to control it? And I'm going to tell you what you can do. That first intuition, because I'm a Taurus, just like you. That first intuition you get, something off about this motherfucker. But at the same time, you want to kind of trust them. Go with the first intuition. Trust me on this one. Now, fuck them. We'll tell them a couple things. We ain't going to tell them too much. You understand what I'm saying? Another thing is, the brighter the setup, the brighter the lights, the brighter the set, all that shit, that's a full indication you're about to walk into some bullshit. Trust me when I tell you this. The more that they're shiny with their platform, the more that they go and take in the antithesis of building sets and shit like that and all that stuff or whatever, the more they're bent on having a production. A production usually includes what? We know this from the music industry. Clive has taught you this. Other people you've been around taught you this. For a production. They bring you into the production room for a production. A production equates to what? Actors and actresses. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Second thing I want to tell you is throw this into your diatribe because this will throw these motherfuckers off. Start talking about the music business as far as the dynamics of how it works. Start telling these motherfuckers on how they get paid. Start telling them on what octaves to sing in. Start telling them on other things or whatever. Sweetheart, you already surpassed. I done surpassed 1 million views before on one video. You done surpassed 1 million views on one video. At this point, they don't want to hear you gossip no more because that's what they're going to use to destroy you. So if you start gossiping more, what they're going to do is they're going to try to destroy you even more. No. Throw these motherfuckers a curveball. Just put up one video And let's talk about the music industry and things and dangers people should watch for within the music industry. And just watch and see the views you'll get off that. I guarantee you will. That's what they want to hear from you. Thanks, Hood Life Chronicles. That's what's going on. Make sure you talk about shit like that. Start talking about the industry as a whole, and then they'll understand you more. Because see, most of these people, Jaguar, if you hear this, most of these people you got to understand they have not had the same experiences as us. So really, when you try to talk to them, you bring yourself down to their level, where they should be arising to your level. I don't give a fuck what you say about Jaguar, that old ass bitch that was on Perry's page. You'll hear her when she said it. That's why I said that. And she was the oldest bitch in the room talking the most. That's an evil old hoe. You going to slave ride to hell. You understand? Some old women, you could tell and look at them. You could just listen to them and be like, you've been an evil bitch all your life. You just old now. So you an old evil bitch. That bitch is going straight to fucking hell because she was talking the most out of everybody. Her and that chick that had the struggle tail. That's what I like to call it. Not a ponytail. She had a struggle tail. You know, when you pull it back or whatever, that rubber band just barely get on that motherfucker. She had a struggle tail. You understand? And the hair is so short that it's still sticking out from the side. So you got to keep fixing the struggle tail. She had a struggle tail. Her and struggle tail was talking the most. So let me show you how you throw these motherfuckers a curveball. Like I said, I'm here for counsel. Huh? Some interested parties said, hey, we'll see what we can do here. Start talking about the music business as itself. These people have never had the same experiences as us. So what they're doing is they're living vicariously off of what they've heard, what they think is the truth, what they presume is the truth, etc., etc., etc. You know, these sewing circles, when they get together, they gossip about all kinds of shit. You got to be aware of that. So instead of going in and dealing with the after effects of whatever is going to happen or whatever they did this time, and as you can notice, they all fuck you, don't they? I told you this. I told you this when we had our one-on-one camera interaction. Nobody needs to know what the fuck that was. But I was trying to tell you then what was going to happen. And as you see, once again, I ain't right. But don't worry about it. It ain't this you. Puff and them niggas used to do the same thing to me. I tell them certain shit. Then a couple weeks later, the shit happened, and they be like, oh shit, this nigga was right. You understand? I've been used to it now. Listen to me very carefully, Jack. Start talking about the industry and the dynamics. Break down to them. Show them how they get paid quarterly. Show them how they they will respect you more. You understand? And then it will take you out of the category of what they think. And I know better, but a lot of these people think you're nuts. Nah, I call that being stressed. I call that being fucking bothered. People don't remember and never ask us because I'm not putting you out there, whatever the case may be. But people don't realize the shit we went through during the pandemic. They don't realize that. One of the worst moments in my life was during the pandemic and shortly before the pandemic. Before that, I had just lived it up, had a great time in living life. Go here, drinking drinks. I'm at the W. We in this state. We in that state. We in this state. First, I get fired, then fall around and lose my girlfriend that I loved very much. And then after that, here comes a fucking pandemic. And I had to treat myself and learn and teach myself how to smile again. You understand what I'm saying? I literally had to teach myself how to smile again and be happy and be comfortable and stuff like that, whatever. And anybody that's been in this channel for a long, long time, especially OG Patrice, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm telling the truth here. Very few of y'all went through what I went through during the pandemic, and I'm talking about outside the isolation. OG Patrice said, I remember 100. So I'm not telling no lies. I don't get off telling lies here. What I'm telling you is, sweetie, stop talking about the salacious part. You can come back to that if you want to, because some of it, well, we both know, huh? We'll say that. They're not going to understand because they've never been in the fucking room. You understand? How are you going to understand how millionaires have a conversation when you've never been in the room with millionaires? You've been in the room with niggas that work at McDonald's. You've been in the room with motherfuckers that make an average $80,000 a year. If you've never been in the room with millionaires, party with millionaires, been down in the trenches with millionaires, been in the hotels, been in the restaurants, the stages, everything like that, you don't know how we operate. The only thing you're doing is making fucking guesses. And I was at one of the top tiers. I was with Puff. I don't care how you feel about Puff. The success rate, let's say that. I bet you if we say Puff showing up here at 2 o'clock this evening, and we say Perry showing up at 2 o'clock this evening, who the fuck you think they coming to see, Perry or Puff? See, this is an imagination that these people put up, and they try to make you believe that they're bigger than the actual artists that they're talking about. It's a psychological trick. You understand what I'm saying? And this is usually put forth by slick, scheming, fucking piece of shit people. You understand? Now, you've never heard me on here so far saying anything about don't go to Sharrell's page, don't go to Perry's page or whatever, and I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to tell you is this. You better watch who the fuck y'all listening to. Y'all better start watching who the fuck y'all listening to. Entonces, sabe, la gente latino, entonces, sabe, claro, ahí sí, en la mente. Y'all better watch who the fuck y'all talking to and listening to. Because a lot of these people have never had the experiences Jaguar Wright has had, and her experiences have been bigger than mine because she was actually a side performer. I was a guy at one time that was just in the studio, this studio, that studio, this studio, even though it was Quad, Daddy's house, or whatever, call it production, whatever you want to call it. But she was actually signed. She actually went on the road with Jay. She actually had albums that were released. And I tell people all the time, I don't consider you an artist. I consider you a nigga with a hobby if you ain't never sold no albums. I've sold singles. You understand what I'm saying? 4 times. So if you ain't never sold no music, if you ain't never been in the confines, and I'm not talking about you just go to the casino out there in Vegas, because all the stars be in Vegas. Puff used to party in Vegas all the time. I think he got tired of it. But if you go out there to Vegas and you walk around, you'll run into a star. If you walk up to Foxwoods Casino in Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, you'll run into some stars, trust me. But have you had the intimate conversations? Have you been surrounded? Most of these motherfuckers, they'll run into one star, and I think that's a big deal. Have you ever been in rooms where there's 15 to 20 stars in the room? No, they haven't. And they never will. You know why? Because the character won't allow it. And one thing they don't realize is a lot of these artists now are going online and they finding out who's who. I'm trying to give my boss right now a crash course on who's who and who not to talk to. I mentioned to some people in their chat rooms, not because I don't like the person, but what I'm telling you is currently what they got going on doesn't match currently what you have going on. So not saying that you can't talk to them in the future, but just don't talk to them right now. I have done that. Because I know once amplified, sometimes it can make a situation worse and it'll lead to that person being counseled earlier. See, it's all a set of mathematical equations. Sometimes you have to deduce and take out of the situation to be able to add later. You understand? So when I said what I said to Jag at that time, I was trying to warn her then. And I didn't mean particularly by them little boys. I meant particularly by the motherfuckers that utilize listening to their page. They the problem. Because see, what y'all don't understand is the viewers and the subscribers have a lot of power, just like the consumers that buy music. Meaning that the subscribers don't utilize that power as much as they possibly can. Y'all donate hundreds and thousands of dollars to these people weekly, right? And y'all don't never ask them, hey, can you do a show about this? Ask them to do a show about children. Ask them to do a show about women being abused. Ask them to do a show about the current violence that's going on nationwide. Ask them to do a show about that. And they won't. You know what they'll opt for? They'll either ignore you or they'll opt to do some more fucking gossip on somebody or opt to sit up here and talk about Jaguar Wright. When in comparison, you ain't did shit in comparison. You or your bitch combined. Shirelle. Ain't nobody coming from an upscale neighborhood named Shirelle. Let me just put that in emphasis. Shirelle. What we gonna name our dog? Let's name her Shirelle. Shirelle. That old cockeyed fucking kitchen hairdo sink ass name. Fuck out of here. I don't hate Shirelle. I don't hate her husband. But what I do hate is the behavior that you guys have motherfucking 15. You know what Jaguar was singing? She was. Let me give y'all a little history real quick, because y'all don't understand this shit, and I'm just barely old enough that I understand it. Jaguar Wright was part of a sound. Okay, it was a sound And if I had to really traject, like really home in on it, it was really, yes, a Philly. Jesus Christ, I could say sonically it was like a Philly DC influenced kind of sound. And that sound resonated all across the country, whether it was her, Jill Scott, The Roots, Bilal, Bahamadia. It was in rap and in singing. And there's many other groups that fall in between that wasn't as popular as them, but definitely they were the forerunners. The Roots, Bahamadia, Jaguar, Jill Scott, Bilal, and it's another woman too. I forgot what her name is, and it's probably like six other ones that were all part of that Philly songstress, songwriter, eclectic sound that somehow or another disappeared and it dissipated. Even Jill Scott, she had to get rid of it sooner or later because she was at the forefront of it somehow or another. I don't know how that happened, but she was at the forefront of it for a while. And so this sound was about love. It was about awareness, in my opinion. This sound was about, sonically, was about people being one with each other. This song was about everything. These songs were about everything and the experiences that it came prior in the 60s and 70s and the grooves and everything they had then. And it was revisited and remade and brought into something else. You understand what I'm saying? Almost like a fusion sonically of what was coming out of DC with the go-go music and the percussion on that end, and then the soothing sounds of like 70 and early 80s inspired freaking hip hop and soul music. And I know this is because my grandfather, Robert Lewis, he's from Philadelphia. He was born to him and his brothers and his sisters, all of them. They were all born there. So you can't tell me I've been to Mechanicsburg, Harrisburg, lived in Mechanicsburg for a minute. You see, you go down there, you see the people. This is further from Philly. This is going towards Maryland. But you would see the Amish folks riding through with freaking the horse and the buggy. There was a Hershey plant. I think it's in Harrisburg. I think it's Harrisburg where the national headquarters for Hershey's chocolates is, you know? So, yeah, I know they got cobblestone streets down there, you know, still. So I know Canonsburg, Harrisburg, and Philly, Germantown, all that. My family from there, you know, my grandfather's side anyway. So this is something that's personal for me. So that's why I know this because I used to go up there. My cousin Benji, Maynard, and all of them. I used to be with them. My one cousin used to play quad drums in the drum corps. You understand? So that sound that was coming out of there at that time, it probably lasted well for a good 8 to 10 years, was a beautiful sound, and the country embraced it. And that's where Jaguar comes from. Jaguar, let me tell you what it went to. All the music that you playing right now, that I listened to you playing, especially when you was talking to Sparks the other day, all that music that you playing, they got it from you. So what you need to do, and I think you need to do, is not emulate them, but take helm of the ship. Now, when you take helm of the ship, remember, you got to be very soft when you step in to take helm. You can't come in and be like, boom, I'm here to take it back over. Don't do that. They ain't going to accept that. They don't understand that. They don't understand competition. In the world that we live in nowadays, they all think that they're equal. So what you want to do here is softly and soothly or whatever the case may be. I've been listening to what you've been doing. I've been listening to your voice. I got a couple beats I want to sing you honestly and truthfully or whatever, but I can tell where you would fit in. And like I said to you before, I ain't trying to be mean. Just like most women, you naturally got bigger. You need to lose about 20 pounds. And that includes changing your diet or whatever. Slim down a little bit so you can compete with these little young bitches. That's what I mean. And you know what I mean. And Clive will tell you that. Anybody else will tell you the same thing. Slow it down. They even had Jill Scott do the same thing. Remember, Jill was bigger than a motherfucker. They made her lose weight too. And she had to lose a lot more weight than you're going to have to lose. You're only going to have to lose maybe 30 pounds or so. When slim it down a little bit, you still look young. The short hairdo, I would suggest maybe Not the weave thing, but grow your hair out something. Maybe do a side bob, have half shave, half of the side, something. Something that looks unique and sticks you out to let some people know there's a new version of you out. You understand? Because you've looked like the same person for the past 2 or 3 years, so now these people think they know you. And they don't know you. They don't know me either. Y'all please hit that like button if you'd like to. Hit the cash up of $STRINGERBELL 80. It's also PayPal link and the GoFundMe link in the description box. Switch it up. And Goomba, you got to get ready. All right? You got to get ready. That means you can't be flipping on motherfuckers. You can't be threatening. Everybody ain't going to be Solar. All right? Everybody ain't going to be Solar. And as far as that song you and Solar made, fuck that song. Because you got more Indian than that. That was a fucking demo. Don't worry about that fucking song. That ain't no fucking hit. You know what a hit is. A hit, you've been in the studio long enough to know we got to go through about a shuffle between 24 songs before we pick even 3. Then after we pick those 3, we got to start over. And then out of those 3, it's only going to be maybe 2 of those 3 that make it. For the final product anyway. Go by the same process that was taught to us. Use the same fucking process. Get a whole bunch of demos built. Get a whole bunch of freestyles built. Go back to reverting back to humming. You don't have to say every last one of the lyrics. Go back to humming. Fill in afterwards. Have at least 4 to 3 different renditions of the same song. Don't do anything that's off the cuff and release it. Do like you did before. That still works for us. What you'll find is once you do that, and I can guarantee you this because I'm still writing, I'm still all kinds of other shit too on my own. What you'll find is all those old tenets that you had that made you a star before, they're gonna come back just like that. But you need time to breathe. And fucking with these motherfuckers like Sharrell and fucking Perry and his punk ass house husband ass, fucking with them ain't gonna do it. You on a time clock now. I'm on a time clock now. We in our 40s. So this one in the early 50s is the last time you're gonna be able to put out something that people are gonna find significant within that age demographic of their 20s and their 30s and their 40s and be able to resonate with. Because after, let's say 56, 57, what old ass Perry and fucking this bitch gonna find out is that you don't resonate with young people anymore. You only resonate with old people. And I don't think you want to be in that space. So what I would tell you, Jaguar, is go back to the old principles that we used to use as far as sound creation. Keep listening to the artists that you're listening to because you like me, and discover artists. Discover artists. For every artist that you like and you're listening to currently right now, I want you to enter this in on YouTube or Google. Put in artists that sound like whoever your favorite artist is. And discover artists. You have to fall in love with music, and I'm telling you this because I had to do it. You have to fall in love with music again. You have to learn how to use music as your outlet again, as your fucking release pattern. You have to do all that. Instead, what's happening is, where you once would use that as music because that's what all was available, you're now directing that emotion towards YouTube. And this is why I'm telling you, I did the same thing. A lot of the stuff that I would have said in my music, I've said here on YouTube, and I had to think about it and say to myself, this is early on in my little now almost a year and a half, year and 8 month YouTube career. I haven't been here very long. You have to find other outlets in which to put and pin your aggression on. And what it is that pen and that paper. Stop talking to these motherfuckers for a minute. Jaguar, walk away for about 2 weeks. Don't say nothing to nobody. And when you come back, you'll get 1 million views again. See, what you don't understand is, and this is from a PR perception, and you know Puff was the best at marketing, and I came up under Sean Press, Malcolm Miles, and James Cruz, if you're wondering. I started out with Cruz. Cruz is still over there with Puff, so listen to me very carefully. You know how Puff disappears for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, then pops up, whatever, then everybody's on it? Do the same fucking shit. Clive will tell you the same fucking thing. Do that. Disappear. The best, you're the star of the spectacle here. And that's one thing Perry did say that was right. You ain't got to talk to all these motherfuckers to maintain your celebrity. You already a celebrity, baby. That's the whole thing about it. Don't you get it? You don't have to adhere to any of these new rules because you're already established. The people that have to adhere to the new rules are motherfuckers that are now stepping into the game. We don't have to adhere by those rules. I don't have to go out here. I'm not thirsty to meet people in the business. Why? Because I already have friends in the business that I've known 10, 15, 20 years. I'm not thirsty to go out here and meet superstars. Why not? Because I already have friends that are superstars that I've known for 15, 20 years. Like you. You can pick up the phone and call Sparks. You can pick up the phone and hit D Haven. D Haven, what up? New London. You already know D. I don't know D Haven in person, but I know where he done stomped through. He done stomped through New London. Ain't that right, D Haven, if you hear this? So there's certain motherfuckers, you understand what I'm saying? And I wouldn't detour you for 1 minute for talking to him. You understand? That's the type of dudes I came up under. You know what I'm saying? D Haven, if you know Monster Tito, you know what I'm saying? Nut, all them, they from around your way. Brooklyn, what's going on? I'm one of the few people that can go to Marcy and Sumner and pass by gates as I'm going there. Shout out to Jerry Hivman, his crazy ass brothers. Shout out to Munch over there in motherfucking Marcy. I'm one of the few people that can do that. I can walk from one end of the block to the other end of the block, past the G and all that, and be safe. Because everybody over there know me. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to tell you is, stop talking to these suckers when you got real G's and generals that want to talk to you. Stop talking to these suckers when they ain't got nothing to offer you and you got all to offer them just by your presence. You understand what I'm saying? Stop talking to these suckers when you got millions and loads of people. What's going on, Selena? What's going on, Lauren Hill? That's right. Stop talking to these suckers because you ain't doing nothing for them. Now, the only person of any respect that I can say that you've been lingering with and you've been messing with and I respect, you understand what I'm saying, is King Payne. I like that boy right there. I like King Payne. King Payne, he does it. You know, y'all can say what y'all want about him, say he moist or whatever. So what if he's gay? I don't give a shit. You understand? Y'all can say what y'all want to about him. And I've seen a couple people trying to make little jabs at him or whatever. You want to make jabs at his sexuality, but you ain't throwing no jabs on the content. And King Payne, stop having all them cackling ass bitches on there arguing. That's the only thing I ask of you, beloved. Stop having all them cackling ass hen house bitches on their gospel. This shit sounds terrible. You understand? At this point, you now need to start diving into having a better caliber of women on your show. Them bras that's on your show that's cackling or whatever, whatever. Every last one of them bitches' life is messy. Every last one of his life is messy, except for one or two of them. They on there supposed to be talking about the subject. They on there arguing with each other. You heard what I said, bitch. You heard what I said. Hey, hold up. Put that bitch on mute. I said, well, where's the subject at again? That's why I like when he narrates the show versus letting them bitches go for a free fall. I don't like that shit. That's why I tune you off. Other than that, King Payne, good motherfucking job. King Payne, I like him. You understand what I'm saying? And there's 3 or 4 other bloggers that she messed around with. Them little boys that put me on their show. I still like y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Not saying we going out to get a fucking drink or something, but you know, you all right. You know what I mean? I think I get a little too wishy-washy and gossipy sometimes, but hey, whatever, fuck. Point I'm getting at is here, Jaguar, stop concentrating because the clock is ticking, baby girl. It's January. Now, remember when we had dates for launch? Pretend like you on a date for launch, Jaguar. Pretend like you on a date for launch. You know what I mean? See, this is what I mean. This is the difference between people that have been in the business and people ain't been in the business. They don't even know what the fuck we're talking about right now. Prepare for launch. Say launch is 6 months. So you got to be prepared. You understand what I'm saying? Now, 6 months put you around about June, July, whatever. You go, whatever, step and drink, you do what it do, whatever, walk through these clubs. You need to be back in the clubs, the lounges, or whatever. And when you're in these clubs or these lounges, you understand what I'm saying? I don't care what your living situation is. I don't care if you're living with the mom, living with Goomba, living out, whatever the fuck. I don't care. You need to be back in the clubs. Go to the clubs in Vegas. Go to the clubs in the local areas in Arizona. And I'm not talking about hood clubs. Do not go to hood clubs. Meaning that you got any club that you got to be fucking wandered down before you go into, you don't need to be there. Any club that you got to be thoroughly patted down on before you go in there, you don't need to be there. And I know it sounds old school and you think you're dependent on all this, the fucking internet, but it's not just all the internet. People want to see you. Go to the clubs, let them see your face. That right there will start up its own marketing engine. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, yo, we had Jaguar Wright in here tonight. They're not going to remember all this stuff about you going to the psychiatric center and all that shit. They're not going to remember this in fucking 4 months, okay? They're not going to remember it. Trust me when I tell you this. We used to live when I was in college, they said we lived in a 10-day nation, meaning that every 10 days, the subject or whatever we would talk about would change. Now, I believe we live in a 72-hour nation. By the end of this week, nobody will even remember or even care that Jaguar Wright went to a psychiatric center. And if you do, you need to check with your own fucking family. Some of y'all got fucking uncles that been sitting around ticking at the breakfast table for fucking the past 20 fucking years and you never asked what the fuck is wrong with them. Some of y'all got an aunt or uncle that's walking around the house talking to themselves and been doing the same fucking thing for the past 15, 20 years and you never asked a fucking question about them. Some of y'all got a little boy or a little girl that ain't too fucking rap tight and they run around the house and do all kinds of other shit. You ain't never asked a fucking question about their mental stability. Don't sit up here and try to act like you can give a fucking psychoanalysis video online on YouTube about somebody else's mental stability, whatever it may be. So Jaguar, get back in the clubs. Go to the club. You're not too fucking old. And more importantly, I hate to say this, Goomba, don't be at every last one with her. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Goomba, instead of being seen with her, I want you to go into the club 1 hour to 20 minutes or whatever earlier than when she goes in. And I want you to go position yourself in the fucking corner. Now, I learned this from some guy. I don't know who the fuck it was. I can't remember right now. But what I want you to do is, I want you to go in the club anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour before she shows up there. Look at the scene. Let her know who's in there. Da. You get this. This is like it's the same thing you would do in the army. You know what the Rangers do, right? We go and come cognizance. So I want you to go in there, peep out the place, do detail, and let her come in by herself. And the only reason I'm saying this to you, Goomba, is not to disrespect you, but you got to remember, she was introduced to the world by herself. As a star, she will be by herself. On that stage, she will be by herself. You understand what I'm saying? Now, unless you want to go learn how to play guitars or drums or some shit like that, hey, join her, y'all be a fucking duo. I don't know. But right now, you got to let the star shine. So, Goomba, let's sit back. Let's not talk too much and let her do what the fuck she knows how to do. And you have to encourage that. Don't encourage the same energy you put, because I've seen you on video a couple of times, the same encouragement and the same energy y'all put into rousing up these vloggers. You had 1 million views. Imagine if you had 1 million sales. You get those 1 million sales, even 500,000 sales, and then you walk off into the fucking sunset. And y'all go swimming and play Pocono and fucking wonder what the poor people are doing for the rest of their fucking life. So in concluding this summer hell with some great advice. Yeah, I know this business. I was taught by one of the best. Let's say that. Shout out to Puffer, who y'all know is Diddy. What up, Skinny? But he taught us well. I will give him that. Fucking asshole, but he taught us well. But he's our asshole. Does that make any sense? So anyway, before I end this, because I need to go get me a cigarette, get my morning coffee started here. And we're going to start doing more lives early in the morning like I used to. You know, I'm changing everything up, as you guys can see. I'm going back to basics here. When we was doing the lives in the morning, I will never change. I will always be outside. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL 80. That's Stringer Bell 80 on Cash App. To everybody that has donated, thank you so much. I appreciate the love. If you do not have Cash App, there's also a PayPal link in the description box and also a GoFundMe link in the description box, which we're going to be switching up to GoFundMe. And I'm going to add some of the money because I was already saving up for a new car. But I want to have a new car by this summer because where I moved to is not like New York and it's spread around or whatever. And somebody asked what they could do to help me. One of the biggest helps I could use right now is getting a new car. So we're going to focus on that in a minute or whatever. But I'm going to make sure I work for it to make sure that I never can have somebody sit back and saying to me, that's my biggest thing, oh, you ain't worked for it. No, I worked for it. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I try to show y'all example for. I'm willing to work for my dollar. I don't want somebody just hand me money, be handing me money. You understand? So whether that's giving y'all a show, whether that's, giving counsel or whatever the case may be, I'm going to do. And I know who Jaguar Wright could be. Ain't that right, Suge? Suge Avery know what she's doing. She just a little flustered right now. That's all. I understand. These motherfuckers will get you like that. That's why you got to halt on interacting with these motherfuckers because they will try to destroy you. Punk ass Perry ain't never had shit going on. So he'll try to destroy a motherfucker that did have something going on. Talking about shit, Jay-Z and them ain't worried about that. No, Jay-Z and them ain't worried about your motherfucking ass. See, what you missed, Perry, was a pure simple fact. You saw Sparks picked up the phone for Jag? Well, if they contacted Jay, what do you think Jay's gonna say? Oh, I don't know y'all. You sound ridiculous when you were trying to explain that. You sounded fucking ridiculous. There's not a star that you or that fucking bimbo ass fucking wife of yours could go to right now because you done talked about every fucking body. Nobody's gonna have you in the same fucking room as them. And if she don't stop shopping at Forever 21, I'm gonna cuss both of y'all motherfuckers out. You too old to be dressing like that. Don't nobody want to see that shit. Your ass 55 years old still shopping at Forever 21. Don't nobody want to see that shit. Should have saw that little ass dress she had on the other day, trying to tell the story. Oh, I got the answers about Jag. I know what's going on. This little halter ass top with them saggy ass titties hanging. Don't nobody want that shit. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I went on a tangent for a minute. I hate when a 5 or a 6 try to present themselves as a 10. You understand what I'm saying? Even in your younger days, let's say 15 years back in the game when you was 40, you were still a 5 or a strong 6. Shirelle was a chick that I would have walked past in Miami, Florida. I would have walked past in Los Angeles, California. I would have walked past in the clubs in Texas, and I would have been like, she would have been like, hey, how you doing? I'd be like, oh, all right. Oh, all right. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you got a number? What y'all doing after the club? She one of them type of chicks. Back in the day. You understand what I'm saying? This goofy, he went over and married her. She was a goofy with ambition. But there ain't no way in hell, unless you delete your whole page. And even then you would have a problem. You can't step back and step into the limelight and think you're going to go out here and interview stars now after you have sat on your page and talked about stars. See, what a lot of these YouTubers try to do, they try to liken themselves to what Harvey does over there at TMZ or what World Star Hip Hop does or what the actual news does. And they think being citizen journalists, because that's the typology is put under in the language, citizen journalists, they think that constitutes them for actually being journalists, and it doesn't. Because unless your page is reflected in a journalistic integrity and it's displayed as that in chronological order, they're never going to respect you as that. And I'll give you a perfect example. Y'all done heard me on here tell motherfucker, I'll drop you, blah, 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 right? But at the same time, I didn't show cops my page where they think I was like, one day it was when that cop had said something to me or whatever. We were engaged in a conversation. I wasn't being stopped. I wasn't being detained. We were having a conversation like normal people. You know what I mean? And at the end of the conversation, y'all remember this, I was in Times Square. He said, you know what? I like what you said. He wanted to shake my hand. So I shook his hand. And so after that, I showed him the phone. I said, no, see, I'm actually live. And I was like, this is where you can find me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You understand? Because I'm not going to say, I know how to coattail things. I'm not going to say anything on here that's going to get me indicted or get in trouble or tell y'all I'm going to do this to that person or whatever, whatever. You know, you read about it on Pix 11 or something. I don't know. But my point is, they have no journalistic integrity. Therefore, they can't show people their page. You couldn't go in a room with Puff and be like, here's my whole page. You couldn't go in a room with Jay-Z and be like, here's my whole YouTube page. You couldn't go in a room with Baby or any of these people. You understand what I'm saying? And be like, here's my page, Lil Baby. You couldn't go in the room with you know what I'm saying? Any of these people and be like, this is my page. And you see, it's reflective of me not only talking about you, but other people that are your accolades in the industry. Meaning other people that work in the industry, perform in the industry, do their duties in the industry, or whatever, just part of our family here. You can call Jaguar whatever the hell you want to, but she's still one of us. And if you don't believe me, why do you think people from the industry pick up the phone for her, whether they're still active or not active? We are a one big conglomerate family. Like, that's the secret. If y'all want to know the secrets, that's what it is. Once you're part of this, you're always part of this. You understand? She knows that. She just never told y'all that. But you know that. And Jaguar, unlike them, you can come back. And I told you how to do it. One thing you gotta do is just say, hey, listen, I was having a rough time. I asked him, like, use what you got diagnosed for to your advantage. You did, Taurus? Use what you got diagnosed with to your advantage. You dig, Taurus? And phew, like water. That's my suggestion. Do your music, Jag, and stop talking to these motherfuckers. And as far as for you, Perry and Shirelle, fuck both of y'all until y'all change up your content. And you're not one of us. And stop pretending like you're part of the music industry or you got the inside on the music industry or whatever. And I lastly want to say this. This video was, once again, not an intention of making you go less and check out Perry and go check out Sharrell. If that's the type of person you are, judging by those folks that were on there with Perry, that were rather elderly. These people were like 55, 60, 65 fucking years old. You understand? Not 55 ain't elderly, but 60, 60 something is heading towards elderly. And these were the people that were on there with Perry and Jaguar. So, excuse me, Perry and Sharrell. So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to detour you from going to their channel. I'm not trying to detour you from engaging with them. I'm not trying to detour you and tell you to unsubscribe from them. That is not my MO. That's not what I do. That's sucker shit. But what I am encouraging to do is start raising a bright eye at these malicious, fucking opportunist ass fucking vloggers. Because there was no reason that punk ass house husband Perry should have made a video 2 hours or an hour after his wife had just gone on camera, and it's still there. It's still there. Where she says, I ain't gonna talk about Jaguar bad. That's not what I want to do. And the blah, 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 blah. And then your pussy ass husband go on 2 hours later and do what you wanted to say. That's sucker shit. And I don't respect that. I don't respect that. I don't look at it as these are some people that you should homage. These are people that are old enough to be somebody's grandparents at this point. You understand what I'm saying? These are old enough to be somebody's grandparents. And they're sitting out there as if they're in some position in life to give measurement. And their viewers are sitting there as they're, and many of their viewers, I wish y'all viewers and subscribers would stop this pretending online like your life is together. Because if I went to your life and I looked at it through a microscope, you would see a lot of these people are fucked up. First of all, let's start here. Many of y'all motherfuckers that are tuning in and chiming in and giving your opinion live throughout our nation's beautiful public housing projects all across this fucking nation. Yes, you heard me correct. A lot of you motherfuckers that live in public fucking free housing got the right to jump online and tell people what the fuck they doing and they not doing in their life. First of all, bitch, how about you get the fuck out the projects? Let's start there. Where your baby daddy at? How come he left you? A lot of y'all people that are talking are 30, 35, 40 years old and you live with your mama and you stay in the basement with your kids. But you got an opinion on who doing what with their life. A lot of you motherfuckers have never had a job in your life, and this is your third, fourth, fifth time getting out of fucking prison. And now you're 35, 40 years old and ain't got an option whatso fucking ever. But you online telling somebody what they should and shouldn't do with their life. Oh, you got to watch these motherfuckers that's online pretending versus the real deal. And the problem is there's so many motherfuckers pretending that y'all make a mistake when y'all get the authentic thing in your face and can't recognize it because of all the frauds. These people have never, that are talking about Jaguar, have never done shit in their life, especially the motherfuckers that Perry had on there. Every last one of them motherfuckers Perry had on his show, all of them is zootified. I ain't never did shit but work minimum wage. Half of those motherfuckers didn't even have health insurance. I guarantee you. So as you're sitting back and you're giving your opinion as a subscriber, as a viewer about what somebody else should be doing in their life, I ask you and I challenge you, throw up what your life has been thus far. And if it's in comparison to not only myself or to Jaguar and her life experiences versus yours, y'all got to remember this girl was signed to a record label at a very young age. What were you doing at the same age, and what were you doing thus far the years that presided after that? Because I heard that one woman with the struggle ponytail come on and say, I only, no, it wasn't her, it was grandma. Let me see if I can emulate her voice. I ain't never heard not another song about her. I only heard that one song from her. That's how this bitch was talking. I swear to God, you old evil cunt. I only heard one song from her. So I don't think she was that popular. She was bigger than you, bitch. She was bigger than you. And many of y'all gonna be like, why you call that old woman a bitch? Because she was a bitch. She was an evil, mean bitch. I know the difference between old bitches. You know who taught me that? My grandmother. My grandmother, Mom Amy Cooper, actually taught me that. That's where I get those words from. So I'm emulating her words. You evil bitch. Because I heard her call a woman that in church before. She said, you evil old bitch. Why are you even here? You don't belong here. There's a lot of evil old people that are out there, and they're more vicious than anyone. Evil old people. There's three different tiers of old people. You understand? There's old people that have worked their life to get to where they're getting, and now they're happy and content to where they're at, whether they're rich or poor. Whether they're rich or poor. They've had a fulfilled life. Their grandkids fulfill them. The parents, the children that they've raised and what they become fulfill them. It's different points of fulfillment. Then there's these old people that have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, and at some point or another in their doing their life, they never said to themselves, you know what, let me go to school. You know what, let me try this. You know what, let me try to make a larger income by taking a sit down and not just going towards a small income, because I know in the end, small incomes don't equate to nothing but me being able to pay bills partially anyway. And then there's another type, right? And this is the motherfucker that has never done nothing in their entire life. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning they've been on public assistance all their life. They've always lived in the same shitty neighborhood with no attributions. No ambitions of moving out of that neighborhood. These are people that have been troublemakers, robbers, thieves, drug addicts, you name it, their whole entire fucking life. In this city right here, and especially New York City, they walk around all the time. If you live in the New York City tri-state area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These old ass men that be 55, 60 years old, be like, hey, yo, bud, you got a cigarette? They always asking for a cigarette. Hey, yo, you got this? You got a little bit of change, whatever. Hey, let me tell you something about life. See, and sometimes they be right. Some of the things they give, or some of the, things they say be right. But what they really are saying is, you ain't gonna be no better than me. Your life gonna be just like me. You gonna end up just like me. Let's see where you be at when you reach my age. Not like you, motherfucker. Not like you. So don't get mad at me when I say that old bitch or that old fuck. Because some of these motherfucking bitter, evil motherfuckers are the worst people walking this face of this fucking earth right now. And they spent a whole lifetime doing nothing more than raising hell, starting shit, and being a fucking menace. That's why I'm not a big fucking dude, and I come from that. I'm not a big fucking dude on highlighting these guys that had a whole life full of violence and shit like that and terrorized the same fucking neighborhoods they lived in. And now we're paying homage to these people and making fucking documentaries and shit like that about them. I'm not into that shit. I've never been into that. You know what I mean? Like if any guy, this is a little tidbit for if you guys didn't know this. At one time, especially in the New York City tri-state area, the Italian population and the black population were very tight knit with each other, right? They lived in the same neighborhoods, they did business together, whatever. Leroy Nicky Barnes, if many of y'all don't know, he was the co-creator of the Genovese crime family. All right, that's with Vincent the Chin Gigante. Huh? Eli Proof. Let me stop. saying the names. But these are people that were big time at one time or whatever the case may be. So you have people and men that come from that accolade or whatever, that actually reached a different ecosphere, if you want to say. Then there was the ones that just concentrated on the neighborhoods they lived in, terrorized those neighborhoods, terrorized the people that lived there, whatever the case may be. And this is almost condensed into your local vlogger nowadays, where the only thing they do is put their concentration on the neighborhood, the culture, and that's it. And don't talk about no fucking body else. And everybody that's in the chat room is from the neighborhood or the culture, and they all sit up there and try to pretend or whatever. You ain't never had shit. Just like that bitch that came on today and sat there on Perry's show talking about she ain't got a pot to piss in authority. You don't know what their fucking living situation is. You don't know what the fuck their living situation is. So stop pretending like you do know. Oh, well, she told me. You definitely don't know. You definitely don't know the way we move in the music industry, do you? You know, I keep telling you guys, let me give you bloggers, before I get off here, let me give you bloggers a point of advice right here, okay? You think you're slick, and you think that you're fooling these stars that you're interviewing or putting up clips or getting a chance to talk to, and you think when you get them on your podcast or whatever, we're at the same equivalent or we're at the same area, space or whatever. Bitch, no, we're not. No, we're not. If you had two football players and one football player plays for the college league and another football player is getting ready to fucking call it quits, grab his last ring and walk off that field, you're talking about an accomplished man versus an unaccomplished man. An accomplished man versus an unaccomplished man. And you're not going to write your story based off of throwing me in the trash can and I'm already accomplished. You understand what I'm saying? Now say whatever you want to about me. Say whatever you fuck you want to about Jag. But Jag's been with Jay-Z. Jag was signed. Jag had a career. Jag put out albums. I've been with Puff. I've helped probably promote no less than 50 something fucking artists in my lifetime. Huge artists that you listen to. I've been in the studios. I've lived the life. I've stayed in the hotels. I've been on the stage with the artists. I've been in company with the artists. I've partied with the artists. I've been on every fucking thing you could think of. I've been on TV numerous times. I was on one TV show for 2 years, MTV's Direct Effects. I was on there. I was dancing for every last artist on their come up, including Ludacris, including Eve and Ja Rule and many other people at the time that were coming up along them. So I don't have to pretend. But now you have to make your bones in society. You have to make your bones online. And you make your bones by talking about people in insidious ways. And I'm trying to tell you, if you're one of these type of bloggers, there's people like me and there's other people in the industry that know when they come talk to you, feed them some bullshit and see how far they take it. Feed them some chuck and see what they do with it. And just like clockwork, many of you silly motherfuckers do exactly what you think you're going to do and start gossiping and talking. I got the scoop. I got the story. I got everything. Don't you? Huh? Yeah, you do, bitch. And once these bitch niggas do that shit, what they do is they run with it and think they got the story. That's what punk ass Perry did. But punk ass Perry, what you don't understand is you'll never be one of us. It's too late. It's too late. This is your last hoorah. You and your bitch. It's your last hoorah. This is all you've got left. All you've got left. Only thing I have to do is pick up a pencil and paper or start typing. Put that together. Record it. Put it out. And 9 times out of 10, they'll like it. And I'm back on. Only thing I've got to do is go to certain offices and be like, listen, I'm having this issue. Can you help me out? Blah, 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 blah. And it's being done. Only thing I have to do is, listen, I'm having a problem. Can you Give me some advice on this, and I can do it. You don't have that same edge. And even if you bitch ass niggas say y'all know motherfuckers in the industry or whatever, they're 9 times out of 10, a lot of times, they're people that people in the industry don't fuck with no more. Because they've done their dirt and got rid of them. Big Face Gary from Rockefeller, he know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about him. He know motherfuckers like this. There's a couple other you guys on here that are people that have used to be on the industry, Doggy Diamonds, you know what the fuck I'm saying. Many other people. I respect those people that actually been in the industry and they know what the industry is. So when they talk, their word is solid. Not a motherfucker pretending and you'd have spent the past 15, 20 years prior working at the fucking grocery store, washing cars. You ought to see the job history of some of these motherfuckers. I had to do it because I was like, let me see who's talking. We're listening to people that didn't graduate high school, people that didn't go and get a secondary collegiate degree, or people that spent their whole life working minimum wage, or people that have been in and out of prison, people that are delinquent on their child support payments. So I got a whole bunch of you motherfuckers, deadbeat mamas too. It's a whole bunch of you deadbeat mamas. Whole bunch of deadbeat mamas out here giving the relationship advice. I know 2 deadbeat mamas right now. I'm not going to do that, but I know 2 deadbeat mamas right now, and y'all probably know them too, that will literally court ordered to pay child support and still have not done it, but online every fucking day telling you how you should live your life. You piece of shit. So start being more focused, you guys, on who you're listening to, how you're listening to them, and what their background is. You understand what I'm saying? Perry, one more time, I support you and I commend you, of course, as I have to, because you serve this country. So thank you for your servitude. Thank you, sir, for your commitment. Thank you, sir, for putting on the uniform. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a man that comes from that accolade, and now you on not only sounding like a bitch, not only in the active of a bitch, but you basically are a house husband and a bitch to your wife, who's the breadwinner in the situation. Your wife makes 16 to 20K a month. Your wife has amassed $5 million out of her 3.2 to $5 million out of her business endeavors, which I'm sure she made you inclusive in. But let's not make no fucking mistake. That's her fucking trolley. That's her fucking caboose on the train. You're just one of the fucking carts being dragged behind. So don't get fucking confused and try to make a name for yourself on the side when she's got 440,000 fucking. And I wonder if she know anything about your little podcast you did. But she's got 440,000 something plus followers, and you got 33,000 plus followers, and you're the fucking co-host on her show. That shit don't make sense to me. And you're the co-host that's always got to shut the fuck up all the time. And Roy, that's your name, Roy. Don't get involved in none of this cocksuckers doing. Trust me on this one. Don't get involved in it, all right? Sit back to the side, be quiet, mind your fucking business. You ain't got nothing to do with it. This is not your lifestyle. I understand you know how to work a fucking rifle, Roy. I seen it, all right? Cool. But don't get involved in this shit. This shit is like fucking chump shit or whatever. And Roy, like, listen, man, we want you to, Roy, just think of all the weddings you want to go to. Think of all the restaurants you want to eat at. Just think this thing out here, Roy, huh? This is not the guy you want to hang around here. This guy's on a downward spiral. Leave this guy alone. He's a sweetheart. But I'm telling you, Perry, as a grown man, which you don't look like, you sounded like a grown, bitter bitch. The way you were talking in that video, you need to leave it alone. And Shirelle, leave Jag alone. Don't speak about Jag no more. If you don't like her, you don't want to be friends with her, fine. Who the fuck wants to be friends with a chick that sits on the line and gossips about everybody every fucking day anyway? Anyway, guys, if you haven't, hit that like button. I'm out of here. I'm going to give you some coffee in me. Please hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80 if you enjoyed everything and anything you've heard today. I just had to come on here and keep it raw one time. If you are just now tuning in, please go back to the beginning of this and watch this. I hadn't realized we had been on here for 2 hours and 37 minutes, but sometimes we got to do that. Selma Haywood, thank you. You've been with me for a long time. Michael Stovall, thank you very much. OG Patrice, as always, shout to you. Thank you, OG Patrice, for donating. I appreciate that. Michael, Hood Life Chronicles, thank you for donating. I appreciate that. Who else on here said they donated? I just subbed to your channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Twinkle toes. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button while I'm reading everybody out. I read some of these comments are funny. Kathy Black, thank you for tuning in. Pauline Camara, go fuck yourself. Uh, Mary Camara, go fuck yourself. I'm pretty sure that was probably this chick. So y'all can go fuck yourself. And everybody else that donated and supports this channel, I appreciate every last one of y'all from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Make sure you share this post, like this post, subscribe here. Like I said, if you haven't donated, it's $ STRINGERBELL 80 stringer bell 80. The link is found in the description box and also will be found in the pinned comment after this video is done. And watch who the hell y'all listening to. Jaguar, hear out what I'm saying here. I don't know. Somebody told me I should tell you. I don't know who the fuck it was. But you still got a chance. Use it.